Welcome to Tap the Craft Podcast, where we dive into stories, science, and culture behind the beer in your glass. We're an education-focused podcast where we explore the people, the processes, and the stories behind great beer. Whether you're a craft beer enthusiast, a home brewer, industry professional, or simply curious about what's in your glass, we're here, or we're glad you're here. And I'm Denny.
And I'm Chris. And today we're heading to Wapaka, Wisconsin and visiting H. Hinder Brewing Company. And joining us are three key members of the H. Hinder team, co-owner Mike Stroik, creative director and marketing manager Ken Lambert, and brewmaster David Oldenburg. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So what I like about having the three of you here is we do have insight from each of the different categories, right? We have the brewer who's brewing the beer. We've got the owner who's, put this whole thing together. And then we have the guy that's making the marketing decisions out there and getting the beers and the brewery notice. So I'm really looking forward to hearing all you guys' insights and learning about how you guys started H. Hinder and then the beers and the awards and everything you guys have won, along the way. So thank you guys for joining us. Also, thank you guys for sending us beers. We always love to drink beers along with the people that we're interviewing so we can talk about the beers and give feedback on it and it just gives it a little bit more, connection with you guys. And the great swag, man, these shirts are great. We've got a nice glass too we can drink the beer from. And
There you go.
And you know what? I grabbed an H. Hinder right here in my hand. So I love the koozies too. So
I love these.
Fantastic.
I've already used this twice.
Nice.
I always end up drinking out of a glass, but I sit out in the garage making dinner or something, and this gets warm way too fast. So being able to throw that on there,
Yeah, the
was
pint
definitely nice.
koozies are super handy, and we've got an outdoor beer garden here, and up here in Wisconsin, people think it's a little hot once it gets above like 75, and they'll spend some time outdoors. I mean, it's also Wisconsin where a beer doesn't really survive in a glass for that long to get warm, but they appreciate the koozie to keep that beer cool.
Yeah. Well, we're very much aware of also being Wisconsin sober as well.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. We have been lucky enough to interview a few breweries from Wisconsin,
At least one other.
Oh,
One
one
or
other?
two.
I thought
One
we
or
did
two.
two.
I
Maybe
don't know.
maybe one other. But and so we know all about the fun times you guys have drinking beer and keeping
Yep.
keeping your glass full for sure.
It's part of our culture, that's for sure.
Good.
All right. Well, let's get this show started. Before we get too far into it, we always want to let anyone new listening to the show know what Tap to Craft Podcast is all about. We are an educational podcast focused around celebrating all things craft beer because we want to assist you, our listener, along in your craft beer journey and adventures. You are listening to episode 310. We're recording on Monday, June 8th, 2026, and we are recording live on Facebook. So if you would like to join us, you can do that on the Monday prior to release at 8:30 Eastern Time. We would love to have you join us for the recording and interact with us as we record. Now, let's get the conversation started by pouring our first beer. So the beer tasting number one will be your Roofer's Delight, and I think it's the 2.1 version. That seems to be what was on the board. And I guess it looks like it's a red rye lager coming in at 6.1% and 20 IBUs. So, Dave, while we pour this beer, you want to talk about this beer?
Sure. I'm going to go pour one too.
Okay.
This is how did this come to be? I think we wanted a red lager,
Mhm.
and we already had a flagship amber ale, and I didn't want it to be too similar to that. I think before my time they had done something different, but anyway, we want to do a red lager, and I'm a fan of the Czech lagers. I think
Mm-hmm.
most people are. And so somehow I came up with the idea of, well, let's take this Czech lager idea, but again, we don't want it to be too similar to the amber ale. So somehow I came up with the idea of putting a twist on it and making it with rye.
Yeah.
So you basically take a Czech amber lager and you remove something like half the barley and replace it with rye, and then you do a single hop and a nice long slow lager fermentation for 2 months, give or take, and that's what you get. So the idea is to get a little that spicy rye in there with a
Mhm.
little bit of sapphire hops to kind of complement that spice, and yeah, real smooth. It's one of my favorites.
Nice, nice. All right. So, Mike, what is the significance of naming this the Roofer's Delight?
Well, Harold, one of our H's, who I always called always called Harry, and yes,
Mm.
we have had Harry Hinder on tap a couple times. Um, he was a roofer, and he was a character, and he had different stories about everything. He loved a red beer, an amber beer,
Mhm.
and would say that red sky at night is roofer's delight, and red sky in the morning is roofer's true warning.
Mm.
So the Roofer's Delight is in honor of Harold.
Okay. Is Harold still with us?
He is not. He made it to 94,
Oh, nice.
almost 3 years ago now. We still have our um, fun beer truck as a 1949 Diamond T that was Harold's that we had the
Oh,
drivetrain upgraded in, and we take it in parades and car shows and have it out by the brewery all the time. And he had a 1930 Essex, which we run around town with
oh,
and stuff too. So
nice.
he's
Nice.
he's still with us.
Well, good.
Well, then raise a glass to him. Then that's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
Absolutely. He'd love
Yeah.
that.
So, yeah, I love a good, red lager as well. One of my favorite beers back in the day when I first started drinking beers back in the 90s. I was a big fan of the Henry Weinhard's Boar's Head Red, which was kind of a red amber lager, and I drank a lot of that beer. The one thing was kind of cheap. I'd get 12 packs for $8. Not too bad. Uh, and I really liked it. So when I saw that you guys were doing us or giving us a red lager, and it also had rye in it because I'm a huge fan of rye, I was just excited to drink this on the show. And it does not disappoint. This is a very tasty beer. You can get a little bit of that, some little bit of caramel aroma into the nose. Maybe even leaning into a little bit of the burnt, kind of like burnt sugary stuff, which is really pleasant. And then you take a sip, and you definitely get that rye spiciness bite right up front, and super
Yeah,
smooth,
yeah,
and not too sweet either. It's just like a nice, perfect balance.
No, you
yeah.
could.
There's a little bit of that caramel. There's caramel rye malt in there.
Hmm.
That's where you're getting that some of those flavors you mentioned from. But
Yeah.
yeah, not too much because yeah, but there's enough sweets in the world without making over sweet beers.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You
Yeah,
drink a lot of this.
yeah. It
Very
even
much.
I even like that it finishes with just a little bit of astringency just to finish off, where it's just like it doesn't end sweet. It just gives you a little bit of pucker in there, and it's like, yeah, that's perfect. It makes me want to take another sip, which I will.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
And from my standpoint, as a guy that does visuals, I'm a graphic designer by background. This is, I think, the prettiest beer that
Oh
we
yeah,
have. It's a little hard to tell on video right here with the lighting, but you get like some nice outdoor light shining through this. It's just clear. It's got this deep red color.
yeah.
I just love
Nice
it. I mean,
mahogany. Yeah, the
yeah.
mahogany
Yeah,
coloring is
it looks
great.
more brown if you're just looking at it, but if you backlight it at all, it turns red.
yeah.
It sure does.
I always describe it as a treat because it's always something special when you take that first sip of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I just had to fill my glass because I already drank half of it. So this growler, we might be doing that second beer tasting a lot sooner than I planned.
Yeah, Denny and I, we always have kind of like a pre-show discussion, and we're sitting here going, "Wow, we've got these two crowlers," and I said, "Well, I'm gonna fill my glass up. I don't know if I'm gonna finish both crowlers tonight, but
Don't,
the way this
don't
one's
worry, I'll
going, we
finish.
might."
I'll finish both my crowlers. I'm a trooper. I'm a trooper. Okay. Yeah. Anything you want to say, Chris, about the beer? I spoke the most
Listen,
about it.
Denny, you always cover enough for both of us, and just to say that very easy drinking beer I could drink a lot of, and the fact that it
Mhm.
is not very sweet. but it's got enough of the caramel notes in it to make you want to come back for another sip. And I'm right there with you, Denny. My glass needs a refill here in a minute.
Yeah, I think this is what I would say is like my perfect red lager. I just love that the fact that you get like I said, I get all those characteristics, yet finishes drier, and it just wants me to it just asks me to take another sip. This could be definitely my post work go-to beer. Is this a beer that you have on all year round, or is this a beer that just comes around seasonally?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up actually. This is one that we have consistently. We have not quite since the beginning, but for a good long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our flagships, and we feature Howard and Harold a lot in the brewery and the tap room. So we actually have, if we had a beer label, we had a friend of ours was a sign painter. He's an artist, so he made some great boards for us. So we have like a beer bottle label for the Foundry water and for
anything. If we did, we've got a label ready to go.
That's right.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm going to keep on sipping on this. We're going to get into your guys' craft beer journeys. This is where our listeners love a good origin story. So let's talk about how you found your way into craft beer. So this question goes out to everyone. And you guys can pick who goes first, and we'll just bounce back and forth between the questions here. So, like I said, our listeners love a good origin story. Take us back to the beginning. How did you first stumble into craft beer? And do you remember that one beer that made you stop and say, "Whoa, this is different"?
Well, guys, do we want to start with the oldest or the best looking? In which case, it's me.
Basically the same one, right?
All right, Ken. Since
Well, my craft beer journey, as probably most people's journeys, begin with beer that is decidedly uncraft. My first beer and many subsequent beers were old styles. That was what was consumed in my neighborhood growing up, was old style. And once I was actually old enough to start going to parties where they had keg beer, to go to Miller was a huge upgrade over old style. So you could tell how low that bar was. If there's any old style fans out there, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's not great.
It was everywhere.
Yeah. But I think the first good beer that I tried, and this is still like a mass-produced beer, was when I first had a Guinness. And it's like, wow, this is what beer can be. And I was in college, right about the time when craft brewing started kind of coming online. This is a long time ago. It was the 1890s, 1990s, something like that. So, eventually I started getting my hands on some, still not really microbreweries, but some craft brewed beers. And it's like, yes, this is kind of, I've been forcing swill down my gullet for so many years. This is what beer can actually be. And that was when, Sam Adams first started coming about. There were things like, I can't even remember what they all were, but I grew up in Chicago, and one of the beers that I came to like was Berghoff beer. There's a restaurant called the Berghoff downtown, and their beer was available in local grocery stores and stuff, and they made really good beer. Yeah. At least to me at the time, it was really good. Eventually, getting beyond college and becoming an adult and being able to go out and treat myself to the things that I actually like good beer, was really about the time again the craft brewing and tap rooms started happening. Once I moved to Wisconsin, sort of the big craft brewery in our neck of the woods is Central Waters Brewing. And they had a tap room that was open back then a couple days a week. So you would make a special point to zip on over there when they were open, and you could get a really good beer off their taps. And that's really where I became cognizant of what a tap room can be and what a true craft brewery can offer to a beer lover.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And then I discovered one day that living in Wapaka, they were opening this brewery, spitting distance from my house, and there was an ad on Facebook looking for bartenders. And I'm like, hey, I could probably pour beer and shoot the shit with people. I'll apply. So I got a call from Mike at some point, a few weeks later, saying this is H.H. Hinder Brewing calling. I'm like, That's how it's pronounced. I wasn't sure if it was Hinder or Hinder, which we hear from pretty much everybody that comes through our door.
Yeah.
So, once I got in and started working behind the bar, bartending, I just immediately loved the place, and I've been here ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, Ken is one of our very originals before we even opened.
Oh,
We hired. He's just a classy, high quality guy. He's helped us in many things and
nice.
decided to come full time with us and try to put us on the map somehow.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
trying.
no, he's doing a great job. Works very hard. Maybe we get too many hours out of him in a week. We should do a few less, but it's all quality, wonderful, wonderful stuff. We're quite blessed.
Nice.
Labor of love.
Very much.
Yeah, isn't it all?
Yep.
Well, side question, did you get to go in your hot air balloon?
I did not. Yeah, the event was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it was great. That morning I got up, the alarm went off at 4:00. We were supposed to meet someplace at like 5 to take off in the balloon, but it was, you always worry about wind, you worry about rain, but that particular morning that was just too cloudy, there was no visibility. And, these guys, they're not flying by instruments, it's by sight, so they couldn't do it. But once we got to the event, and to anybody listening, we had this great, hot air ballooning event just this past Saturday, but weather was perfect. We had, balloons inflated out on the back lot, burners shooting pillars of flame into the sky. I mean, what's not to love about that? It was great, but I didn't get to fly that morning, so the chance will come around again.
All right. Well, then that's a perfect segue, not really, but to the next question of, where do beer tastes land for you guys these days? Is there a favorite style?
We didn't talk about everyone else's
Oh, yeah.
first beer.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, I went on a big story, so let's hear these guys.
Okay. All right, who wants to go next? With
ahead.
how they get?
David's story is far more interesting. than
I'll go next, and Mike can talk about Hinder and all that, I think, right?
Sure.
I don't have the usual path in that I was never really into the cheap beer. I was, in college and that kind of thing. I discovered Miller High Life. I still like it to this day, but I was never into, drinking, PBR or some of these other ones people say they liked back in the day. I never really got. Not to pick on that beer, it's fine, but I don't really have that kind of story. I guess maybe early aughts. I guess I found we lived in Tucson, and I found a bottle shop there where they didn't care if you broke apart their 6-packs or their 12-packs or whatever, and everything had a single bottle price. So you could go in there and once a week I'd go get a 6-pack of random beer that I'd never had, and I would taste it and learn about it and whatever. And then at some point I started keeping notes, and I had this little book where there was little tasting notes for all these different beers that this guy had made, and most beers you could find, there was a note in this book. So I would kind of compare what I thought to what he thought, and I got interested, and then decided I just had to try home brewing, and so I set myself up with a little extract homebrew kit thing, and I made this beer that, in retrospect, probably wasn't very good, but I liked it, and I liked it, and I was so excited about this. So then I did a few more brews, and some of them were better than others, and at one point there was a large mess on my carpet from a fermentation that didn't go real well. And, the standard homebrew stories. Anyway, I got really into the homebrewing thing, and then we moved to Wisconsin, and I did more and more homebrewing. And one of my stories is that I decided I needed to be able to ferment some lagers, because lagers are awesome. And I didn't have any kind of a temperature control type setup, so I knew I couldn't really do it. And this was before anybody had discovered Kvike, or at least any American. So once upon a time, I took all of the food and all of the shelving out of our fridge, the one fridge we had in our apartment, And you
Who
can
needs a
see
fridge for food?
yeah, right. You don't really need food. And I just stuffed a big carboy of lager in there and stacked food around it as best I could, and made it happen. And then lagers, even if you're doing everything right, sometimes they blow off sulfury smells during the first part of fermentation. So you'd open the fridge to get anything, or even the freezer above it.
Smell like
And
rotten eggs.
right. Yeah. So my wife was real happy about that.
Oh.
But anyway, so I had some other home brewing, things, and eventually I managed to get a job mucking out a mash tun, by hand at a local brewery, and that was my whole job. I would come in, muck out the mash tun, go home, and then eventually I got promoted to being able to mix up the root beer, and kind of went from there. And eventually I got the head brewer job there, and they liked what I was doing, and sent me off to brewing school, and so I got qualified after I had the job, and I worked there for 13 years, and learned a lot of things, and now I'm making the beer at Hinder. So it's the short version.
Yeah, how many years have you been here now, David? Like 7 years or something like that?
I think we are right around the 7-year mark.
Actually, May 21st was 7 years.
Okay.
Oh, look at Mike with the
Now,
numbers.
do you know that, or did you get like something? And
Did you look that up ahead of time?
I didn't pull it out of my Hinder.
HR department told them.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was like
right.
your payroll software told you that, didn't it?
Pins in my ear.
Right.
No, I remember it well. We had a turbulent experience with our first brewer. We opened in October, and he wound up leaving in May. And through people I'd met putting this whole thing together, which is just a cool network of people in the whole craft industry. They're all, willing to offer advice and help, and it's a pretty neat group.
Yeah.
Told me David, was with a brewery that had upsized big time, and it wasn't working out, and they had to cut costs. So David was the first one to go. Not that he was the one they should have cut, but thank God they did.
Well, they cut the guys who they pay the most.
Yeah.
Right. So then everything suffers for it. But
Right.
yeah, I know, but that's what you do.
I'm not sure if that's really the right approach, but yeah.
So David came in. He quit on a Wednesday. David was in by Monday. And we talked and got along. He said, well, I'll keep you in beer until we can find somebody to do this full time for you. Well, that's 7 years ago. He's still
He's still there.
Beer.
Yeah, you still looking for somebody for him, David?
Well, we did recruit somebody, but I think that didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
Well, one great anecdote, and I definitely want Mike to give his craft brew story too. But I just remember when David first started, the brewer that had abruptly left, took a bunch of recipes with him, and I just remember David sitting and pouring the beer and looking at it and smelling it, taking a little note, and basically reverse engineering all these flagship beers that we had, and
nice.
ultimately improving upon them. But to me, I was just astonished at the capacity he had to look at something like this that's very subjective and taste it and smell it and shine a light through it or whatever he did, mind meld with it and figure out the component parts to recreate it. Really cool.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate it was, but I got close enough.
Yeah, but here we are now. Look at that.
Here we are, yeah.
But
I think I found an old malt order laying around that he had forgotten to burn or whatever he did with all the stuff.
yeah.
And
Well, and
that helped too, so I could at least see what ingredients he'd been ordering.
in Hinder's site, we didn't want it to be the same because it's much better now.
Yeah.
Oh, and,
Yeah, and
it's
we-
gone on. I mean, he just improves things, even his own stuff. His next batch, he'll tweak some minor thing that's a little difference, and he'll taste it and he'll elaborate on it. And I'm like, I think they're both good. I don't want it. So he makes fabulous stuff for us. He's easy to work with, very dependable. Again, blessed, with David and Ken, just such high quality people.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No. Well, I can definitely say that I've fallen in love with this first beer. It's almost gone. I'm going through it quick. I miss having beers like this because this is a style that doesn't get brewed,
Right.
ever,
That's exactly
right?
right.
Well, that was some of the reason behind it is you don't even see that base style very often, that Czech amber lager,
No,
and then you
no,
put a
it's
twist
rare.
on it, and it's really unique. I can't tell you another beer like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's not true with all of them.
No, but you're definitely seeing a lot more. I feel like Denny, we say this on every flippin' episode anymore. We're definitely starting to see a lot more beer flavored beers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Is
this
that,
is
is
just
that right? I wasn't aware of that trend. Yeah.
yeah, and it's well,
Well, it's been a while since I've seen any really, really crazy ones, but I didn't know that we were finally trending back to beer flavored beer.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
We're
not
going-
a
it's full circle.
It's not a hazy IPA that's triple dry hopped and got
Yeah.
mango puree in it, or a barrel aged adjunct stout that you go stand in line for to go get two
Yeah.
bottles of. But have a beer that's
And we do have traditionals on tap all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Our flagships are traditionals. David, gets into different things and we'll collaborate on stuff and pick stuff out. Or if I try something somewhere, he'll emulate it or do something similar, just to have a few oddballs or different ones. And some are one and done. Some we pull back out after a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun. It's fun for customers too. They know the base is there if that's what you want. But then there's some more intriguing stuff too, some more interesting stuff that you can have too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always
no.
try to have something kind of weird on tap. You don't want to have it too square.
what's
You know-
weird on tap right now.
Actually, I think it's the other beer that you guys are going to try on this.
Okay.
I don't know if
The
it's
We'll
smoking
get
meat?
we'll get to
Yeah,
that. in a
I
little
would
bit.
say that's the weirdest one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Mike, let's get to your craft beer. How'd you get started into what was the first craft beer that you drank back in whenever?
I guess I can't say I had a wow moment. At first I worked construction.
Okay.
I owned a construction company, and we would drink large amounts of cold light beer
Mm-hmm.
in the summer and in the winter. But just as time went on and you just wanted something a little more flavorful, a little better, I agree with Ken that Burkhardt was a very good beer. I'd have some of those. Number of breweries in the area, and Miller Lite was a big deal because you were used to the really cheap stuff. To show my age, one of my first 6-packs I bought was Black Label for 99 cents.
Wow.
So that and generic beer, you guys probably don't even remember.
I remember generic beer.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember the beer with the white can with the beer.
Yeah,
Black
just
letter.
black labeling.
Yeah.
You could win a bad beer contest with some of that. So, and it just evolved into, I always liked beer. I run better on beer. I would drift into a mixed drink or a bourbon or whatever once in a while. And it's like, no, I run better on beer. Life is better on beer. And I'll just stick with my beer. I still drift once in a while because we have memories that aren't the best, but I always come back. Beer's my thing.
That's
Nice.
I feel like that should be on a t-shirt too, Mike. Just I
Yeah.
run better on beer.
Run better on beer.
Mike
And
Stroik.
that is one of my sayings. I do run better on beer. It's life is better with a beer.
All right. Now
So
can
I
I
wish
do
it
it?
was more exciting. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, hey, everybody's got that first time, which is great. Denny, can I move on to the next question?
Yes, you
now?
can, Chris.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that I didn't just go try to jump the shark already. Let me get this out. Where are beer tastes landing today, guys? So do you have favorite styles, or what's a go-to order if you walk up to a bar, not at H.H. Hinder, but if you go to a beer place, what are you grabbing?
I feel like my tastes are changing. I used to really go for the stouts and the porters quite a bit, and I feel like it's lightened up quite a bit. and I'm pretty open-minded to most beer styles. There's, some people hate IPAs or they hate sours or whatever, and there's not too many that I hate. I'm pretty open. I think if I was going to a new place, I like to try some of those standards, those classic styles, and see how they did with them. So you will often start with, a lager or, an amber ale or something like that and go from there. But I'm also a guy that I don't tend to order flights that much.
No.
I'm brave enough to just pick one and go for it, and
And
very
it's not a trade of
seldom.
commitment.
Yeah, very seldom have I been so disappointed with I just couldn't drink it. But yeah, I'm usually starting with like a lager or a blonde ale or a amber ale or something like that these days, and I'll go from there. But yeah, those classic styles work for me.
Okay.
I'll tend to. It depends on the brewery that I'm at.
Mm.
Like if I trust them, I'll go for the Pilsner every time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But if I don't trust them, then maybe something a little easier to produce. I'll often go for pale ales, IPAs. I like those a lot. My favorite beer period is Pilsner Quell, which interestingly, when we're talking about beer origins, I remember being at a keg party in college, and there was a keg of God knows what, and then and somebody shows up with a 6-pack of PU, and I had never heard of this or had it or whatever, and I took one and I drank it just straight from the bottle, which now I know is not cool, especially with that beer, but and I remember thinking, God, this is so bitter, right? Because it probably has, I don't know, 40 IBUs or something. I don't know what it is, but and now I'm like, oh, it's just the perfect level of bitterness, when I drink it. So I'll often go for the Pilsners. I like the pale ales, and then anything that's interesting, or anything that's, I don't go for the sweet stuff if I can help it, but anything else that's interesting or weird, I will try the weird stuff just to see.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not that great, but once in a while you hit something. One of the best beers I've ever had was at a place in Colorado, and all of the beers, not all of them, but most of them were something weird, something unusual, some kind of unusual ingredient. He used tea a lot and different kinds of rice. And different, Anyway, I bought something that was sold as a pineapple fried rice flavored beer.
I think I would have done that.
Right? It sounds like it should be horrible. I couldn't resist trying it, and it was absolutely wonderful. Like it was a sour. It had a little bit of pineapple to it. It had some kind of rice that they use in fried rice. I don't know the type of rice. It had those little red peppers that they put in Chinese food, right? Whatever those are called, but not too much. It was heat, but it wasn't overwhelming. It still tasted like beer, but it also tasted like pineapple fried rice.
Nice.
And
Did you have to lift the pint with chopsticks? It might be easier with a snifter.
that would have been exciting. That was after a couple of other beers though, so I don't know how well that would have gone.
Yeah, this beer feels great in my lap.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so. Once in a while, you hit these things, and you're like, well, it's unusual, but it works.
Interesting.
So I'll try the weird stuff just out of curiosity.
Funny enough that I was gonna say, funny that it went the Chinese food route. I remember having a beer a couple of years ago from Dissolver in North Carolina, and it was a crab rangoon sour.
I remember that one. I remember you.
Man, it was
that.
so good.
It was good too.
It was delicious.
Huh.
No, like fishy, seafood notes, but it was all that like sweet and sour, chili sauce, and then a little kettle sour base. But man, it was really good.
Wow.
What about you, Mike?
I tend to go to IPAs. I like traditional IPAs.
Okay.
Our IPA is I Pledge My Assets. So
yes, a great name.
Kind of my beer.
That's your beer, right?
Yeah. It's hard to find a traditional IPA on tap. Everybody drifts juicy and
Mhm.
extra juicy and juicier.
Mm.
I like just a traditional IPA. There's a few good ones around. Lots of times they'll have, a regular bar will have, 4, 5, 6, 7 beers on
Mm-hmm.
tap, and it's very, very seldom a traditional IPA.
Okay. When
Yeah,
you
That's
say
my first
tradition,
go-to. I like everything. I love a lager. I love a pilsner.
Mhm.
Love the ales. Love pale ale. So just how it's made, how it hits me. I usually just like beer, so I'll find one I
Yeah,
like.
that's right. That's right. When you say traditional IPA, are you leaning towards the West Coast style or kind of like the English IPA style where it's
No, West Coast.
West Coast? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
piney, citrus, bitterness.
yeah, enough
Uh,
bitterness.
okay.
So the citrusy doesn't overtake the
Yeah.
bitterness.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Excellent.
have a term for juicy IPAs, but I don't know if we should use
Come
it.
on. You can't bring stuff up like that and just be like, nah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
Sure,
right.
Mike. We're a non-family friendly podcast. Just say it.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
I think the juicy IPAs are basically a denutted regular IPA.
Okay.
It's been castrated.
They've
Okay,
been
I
Okay.
they've been neutered.
It's been made
neutered.
soft.
Neutered.
Yeah. Okay. Could see
All
that.
right, excellent. On that note, what is a beer style that you didn't like at first, but you've grown to enjoy over time? A style you hated at first, but now you're like, wow, that's actually pretty good. And
Actually,
maybe it's a
IPAs
smoked
for
wheat.
me.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, I didn't like IPAs at first. I thought it's too bitter, it's too hoppy, it's too one-dimensional. And then
Same.
I got to kind of gradually. I had to make one at that other brewery and worked on making it better and better. And eventually, I liked it.
Okay,
And so yeah, I grew into IPA. Now I really like them.
Well, David and I
nice.
grew our balls and learned to love IPAs.
There you
Yeah, no,
go.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah. The disclosure is that when I say I like IPA, I'm referring to clear IPA. I don't really hate the hazy IPA either, except the gripe I have with it is a lot of them I don't like, but some of them I do. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like I like the one we make.
Yeah.
So it's possible, but it's when you go to the bar and they think they have an IPA on top, and
Yes.
what they actually have is a hazy IPA. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, that's not what I want, and
Yeah.
it doesn't cover that base. But
No.
meanwhile, you took up your taps with it. Now I can't get an IPA.
Right.
So that's my gripe with it's more about the nomenclature than about the beer itself that
Yeah.
I'm bothered with.
Yeah. Use the right terminology.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it shouldn't be hazy IPA either. It should be New England IPA.
New England.
Yeah.
Because hazy is not hazy isn't a flavor. And then guys do these crazy things to make their beer appear hazy when it wouldn't naturally be hazy.
Mm.
Like
Right.
I don't know if you guys know what people pull, but one time when they first became a big thing, there was Toppling Goliath and whatever,
Mhm.
and just the haze was like a byproduct of the way the beer was produced, not necessarily something that was intentional.
Yeah.
And then when people started packaging them, I said, well, wait a minute, you can't make a beer that way and then package it effectively. That's not going to work. So when I got a packaged one from, I think it was Sierra Nevada, and I thought, and it looked right, it tasted right, and I was like, how did they do that? Because they had to have filtered this or at least centrifuged it or something to get it. And so I did a couple tests on it. I put it under a microscope and I did some stuff and determined, yeah, this is filtered. There's no yeast in here, or at least
Oh.
not much,
Mm.
Yeah.
and at least not enough to cause it to look this way. And then they added back stuff to make it look cloudy,
Oh.
which I
Oh,
think is
really?
probably a lot more common than people think to
Yeah.
do it that way, because haze doesn't like it if it's not dissolved, it's going to eventually float or sink, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, unless it's exactly the same density as the beer around it, which is really unlikely. So
Which is
by
pretty damn
definition,
impossible.
haze is not permanent. It's going to settle.
Yeah.
So if you want to make it permanent, you got to do something weird. So I think that's probably pretty common. So
I love that. It's just, if you're gonna make it hazy, it's gonna be permanent. It's got to be something weird.
but yeah, so people are doing all this stuff to make the beer look the way it naturally wouldn't, just because the name of the style contains the word haze.
Yeah.
Whereas if the style didn't contain that word, I don't think we would have that problem.
Yeah.
You could have a clear New England IPA.
Yeah. Well, and let me clarify myself. I don't knock any beer drinker, and I don't think any style of beer is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think some are not as palatable for me as others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think beer people are just good to be around. That's why we have a tap room. We have a full
Usually, yep.
license, but we have a tap room because I love that atmosphere.
Yeah.
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 And we can sit in a beautiful tap room and drink wonderful beer and talk about Hinders and laugh with our friends. And what the hell's better?
Yeah.
I always say if you can't drink a beer with your friends and have a laugh, then there's problems.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I can't think of any beers that I used to hate, but now I like. I mean, there's
It's
still
a style,
some.
not a beer, just a style. Like,
Yeah,
did you
styles.
always like smoked beers? Like when you first had your first smoked beer?
Actually a pretty good example, because when David made the first smoked beer that we had, I obviously tried it. I was a little skeptical. I was bartending back then. The first one I had, I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know about this. And I ended up drinking it all summer long. It really became my favorite beer while we had it. And it was great, because every time I poured one, and I was still working behind the bar then, it would smell like a campfire.
Yeah.
And, where we are, people frequently come in from camping or from the campfire. And it's like, I'm not sure if I'm smelling the beer, if I'm smelling this bloke that just came and sat down at a bar stool. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, then
But
for most of
ended
us,
up.
I was saying for
ended up
most of
being
us, that
delicious.
smell of campfire is, I mean, it's good memories in my mind, so it's not a bad
Yeah.
thing.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. It's not like a tire fire, It's a little more pleasant than that.
Well, Ken was from Chicago originally. That's why he said tire fire.
Yeah, that's right. It's a nightly occurrence. I mean, if I wasn't starting them, somebody else was.
Well, I mean, I used to live in Cleveland, so we were the mistake by the lake. So, because they wanted to set it on fire.
Come on, Cleveland rocks.
That's why I don't live there anymore.
Rocks a little too much.
Yeah. So, Denny, can I move on? I don't want to jump the gun again.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll be right back.
He's jumping guns. He's jumping sharks.
Sharks, guns. I mean, it's what I do, right? All right. So I always love this question, and we've been asking this one for a long time now too. Guys, is there any brewery, and I always have to preface it with, other than Hinder, is there any brewery or specific beer that you think deserves more love or is like a hidden gem that people should be talking about? And that could be super local, that could be around the country, the globe, anywhere.
Yeah, I think I don't tend to drink a lot of packaged beers, stuff that's, at the bottle shop that comes from all corners of the world. I go into places that are, regional, local breweries, and we've got some real gems in Wisconsin. And there's a couple that when I'm traveling around the state that I do like to get to. I really like Vintage Brewing. They've got a location in Madison, and they've got one in Prairie du Sac or something like that.
I wish I would have known you 2 years ago, because, man, I was in Madison, Wisconsin, August 2 years ago, and I had a couple places to visit, but both times that we've talked to Wisconsin breweries, they're like, "Oh yeah, this place right outside of Madison, you should have went here," and I'm like, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah, I mean it's a good problem to have, but there's a lot of places around, and most of them make some pretty good beer. A couple other neighbors, neighbors like regional neighbors, is there's a place called Fifth Ward down in Oshkosh that's really good. Of course, Central Waters, just a hop, skip, and a jump up the road from us in Iola, they all make good beer.
Okay.
Yeah. And Central Waters is one where, they do bottle and distribute. I don't know how far they distribute, but, you can get their beer plenty of places around, at least in Wisconsin.
They're famous for their barrel aged.
Yeah.
And
I'm familiar with them.
I think that's all over the country.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's got a long reach.
It definitely does.
They do really. They're good at that.
All right. So we got a couple in Wisconsin. David, Mike, what about you guys? Beers or locations that might be the hidden gem?
I could give you a style that's a hidden gem that not too many people know about, but they
All right.
should.
Let's hear
Which
it.
is alt beer.
Alt beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alt
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love alt beer, and most people have never even heard of it. I've made a few here and there, and
Mhm.
you know they're good, and they're really hard to get right. But if you do
Yeah.
it, you know, it's just this nice. Oh, it's just this combination, this wonderful combination of smooth, you know, European malt,
Mhm.
you know, malt character, kind of like that Roofers.
Yeah.
You know, and then but much hoppier. It's almost like a wonderful combination of an amber lager, except it isn't. It's an ale with a pale ale. You know, it's just
Mm.
and nice and hoppy, but not the citrus hops. It's the noble hops, and
Yeah.
yeah, I love those things. That you almost have to if you do them, you almost have to just sell them as amber ale
Yeah, exactly. Because
because
people
no one
see
knows what
alt,
alt
they're not.
beer is.
Yeah,
You know, so
exactly.
they're really hard to sell unless people know what they are.
But you are correct, David, that this, if it wasn't a lager, it almost could pass for an alt beer because it has a
Almost,
lot of the same
yeah,
characteristics that a good alt beer has. So it's a
yeah.
good
Think a
call.
little more hop character, and
Yeah.
it would almost be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I that would be my hidden gem that people should try to discover.
Okay.
I definitely agree with you. And that's one you don't, we already talked about a couple of styles that you don't hear of often. Like that's a rare one.
Hmm. There's
Definitely
one
rare.
Yeah.
brewery in the Green Bay area that does do a year round alt beer.
Which one is that?
That is Zambaldi,
Oh,
and
okay.
they have an alt beer called Meatball Man.
The meatball man.
I think I
That's
know
got
him.
a great
believe
name.
there's a story behind that. I don't know the details. I think it has something to do with they were drinking alt beer in Dusseldorf. I'm going to assume. Like I say, I may get the
Oh.
story wrong, and if they hear this, I apologize if I get it wrong. But um, it was something about how they were in Germany drinking alt beer, and they had a lot of alt beer, and they really needed some food, and they were getting hungry and cranky. And right then, a guy came by selling meatballs, individual meatballs off of a cart or something, and so the Meatball Man saved the day,
And
something like that.
now I'm going to send him a message on Facebook and go, I
Find
need to
out.
know.
Get the real story. Yeah,
Do you know the Meatball Man?
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mike, what about you? What about beers, styles, or breweries that need some extra love?
Well, to be honest with you, I work a lot, so I don't get to a lot. I still run my construction company and spend weekends or different times of the week and what have you, you know, with Hinder and the 810, our event space. Put a lot of time into all that. So I don't get a lot of places. It's usually in Florida
Mhm.
when we go down there. We're in the Panhandle, by the way, yeah,
Okay.
Santa Rosa Beach, 38. I like Idle Hounds Brewery down there, Lawless Coast, couple of them, nice people, props, kind of named after a lot of military planes down there. So that's kind of a cool one. They've got some neat stuff. So those are fun. David and I were just talking about he was in Florida, so uh, High
Yeah.
is a
Garden City.
great traditional IPA. You know, one of the true IPAs, kind of a Bell's style, you know, good IPA.
Hmm.
Funky Buddha down there, I think, is pretty good. They make some pretty good beers. So that's when I have more time to wander around to the breweries. We get different places once in a while, and um, just always find a beer I'm happy with,
There you go.
and run better on beer.
That's it's gotta run better. All right.
All right. Well, we'll stop there on the craft beer journeys because I want to get to the meat of the content into talking about H.H. Hinder Brewing and learning more about that. So we'll stop with the great job on the craft beer journeys. Really appreciate that. But now let's dive into the brew buzz. And as I mentioned, this is devoted to discussing various beer-related topics. This week we're going to talk about H.H. Hinder Brewing, find out all the history and the know-how about the brewery. And because Chris and I love a good butt pun, we're going to sprinkle some of the great beer names between the interview topics. So starting off with some beer names that you guys have, you got the Cafe Keister Coffee Stout. Nice. Here's one of my favorites. The Uncle Heine White IPA. Perfect beer style with the name, right? The white IPA with the Uncle Heine. Nah,
Yeah,
nice.
that just made a picture in my head. I don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and my wife Jackie actually had Henry was her uncle, and he was always Heine. So he was the inspiration
All right.
for the Uncle Heine.
Nice, nice. And then as Mike already mentioned, you have I Pledge My Assets IPA. IPA, it's all spelled out there. Perfect name. I love that name. And then of course you can't have a butt pun without the Butt Light Lager. Perfect name for a light lager. I love it.
And
We
Harry
made that, we
Hinder.
made that just for the joke just for the name, because the name was funny. And I didn't think it would be that popular, but it turns out it really is popular. So we keep making it.
Yeah.
Well, I found that I'm really appreciating some of the light lagers coming out of craft breweries right now. Because back in the early days, nobody wanted to produce what the production breweries were doing, right? Now you guys are producing a light lager that is so good, it just wipes the mass production breweries, ass with it, because your beers are so clean and
They wipe
good.
their Hinders with it, Denny.
Yeah, you wipe their Hinders with it.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, so I can appreciate a good Butt Light light lager for sure.
Yeah, and any event, really any given weekend, we pour a lot of those. It is a popular beer. And I think there's plenty of folks that come in that just want to sit down and have a couple of beers. They're not necessarily craft beer aficionados. They have an appreciation for a elevated experience beyond, the regular, dive bar experience or whatever. But they're not necessarily as in the know of all the nuances of beer, and a Butt Light serves them very well.
Yeah.
It tastes better than something you get out of a cheap can someplace.
Well, how many times do we hear, "What's your lightest beer?"
Or I'm sure you guys
all the
hear it
time.
too, just like so many other breweries do. Hey, what do you have that's like?
Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, we happen to have a Butt Light. just
Well,
what you
we've got
wanted.
one close.
Yeah, I think it's
Our
if
club
people are,
soda is our next latest one.
All right, so let's get into some background of all you guys. So we're going to start off with you, Mike. You already mentioned that you're in construction, so I won't go. We know you're in construction, but what made you want to become a brewery owner?
Got older, made some money, and lost my mind.
You made money, you wanted to lose money, and lost your mind at the same time.
can't have too much money.
I read an article once where this guy wanted to open a restaurant in Milwaukee, and his friends told him, "Well, here, why don't we fill a suitcase with money? We'll go to the tallest building in town and throw it off, and it'll be quicker and less painful." Well, I don't know. I always thought it was cool, and I always had the name in my head, since I was in my 20s. I kind of, we would always drink beer and talk smart and come up with different things. So I was always going to open Hinders, the opposite of Hooters.
Okay.
And so it kind of evolved into, okay, let's do it. And I'm from I grew up in Amherst, but my mom was from Milwaukee. So when I was 19, I moved away from Amherst and went to work for somebody, and still down here in the Slinger Hartford area, and found Jackie and have 4 daughters and everything. And then all of a sudden, with some family, hey, let's do this brewery thing, And so we went ahead and did it. And it's a ton of work. It's not a ton of profit. It's a tough business. Everybody's fighting for everybody's dollar for your $6 beer.
Yeah.
And
Whoa! You still have $6 beers?
Denny's moving to Wisconsin.
I know. We're not in a great spot. In Florida, they're $8 or $9 beer.
Yeah. Denny's lives in Boise in Idaho, and
I'm complaining about the $8
He was
beers
all
too,
about
so.
it until about 2 years ago, and he's like, "Those bastards! They started charging me $7 for beer." I'm like,
Yeah.
Denny,
Yeah.
it's $9 here. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Right. So So on we go, and we found this neat building. Jackie, helped it make it look just beautiful. It's then David shows up. Then Ken was there first. Then Ken goes full time. Then we get some gushing gratitude from the community, and it's just like, how do you say no? So we remodeled the next building, and we bought a couple more properties and made a
Oh.
bigger parking lot, and
Hmm.
and on and on and on it goes, just from us having fun talking about Hinder.
Having a cool place and just to have just a run on beer.
Yeah, so you knew that if you ever opened a place, you were going to name it Hinders because you're a butt man?
Well, one of the things I noticed about Hooters was that most of the girls didn't have much for boobs, but they had Hinders. So I was like, well, why in the hell are you calling this Hooters? Have you seen their butts? Come on.
There you go.
Listen,
Perfect.
there's a lot of logic in that.
Yeah.
Sometimes as we go through life, we just have to right some wrongs along the way.
Yeah. A wise man once said.
Yeah. So I always say it's the most neutral thing we have. It's gender neutral, race neutral, and color neutral.
That's true.
We're all using ours at the moment, and you'd kind of be lost without it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's never raunchy, just fun.
That's true.
These are just life lessons, guys.
Wow.
Like if,
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I'm
should be
learning
taking
something.
notes.
We're
Yeah.
keeping it real.
I'm going to be using this forever now.
Taking
The older ladies would come in, and I think they knew it was Hinder because it's kind of an old European term.
Yeah.
And they'd lean over and whisper, "Is it Hinder?" And I look right at them and grab my butt with both hands and say, "No, it's Hinder." And they just giggle. They get a big kick out of that. So we don't get. I think 2 people in 8 years, maybe 3. Ken talked about one.
Yeah.
Been a little offended, but everybody gets it and just has fun with it. And sometimes we get stuff that's too raunchy to use, but I always tell everybody, give it to us anyhow. We'll use a piece of it.
Right. Yeah. We get a lot of suggestions for beer names.
Hey, everybody
Yeah.
loves a good piece of Hinder, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
use what you
Right.
can.
That's right. We drove by a plastic surgeon years ago down in Florida, and they had butt lifts on special. So now every year at our Hinderfest celebration, we do the mug holding we call butt lift.
I love that.
Nice.
So
Yep.
good. All right. Well, David, you started as a home brewer about 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
What point did you just go, hey, brewing might be a career instead of a hobby?
Oh, that's actually a pretty good story. I had we had a 2-bedroom apartment, and one of the bedrooms was my office where I was a software engineer. And then it had 2 bathrooms, and we didn't really need both. So one of them across the hall from my office became the fermenting room.
Yep.
You weren't allowed to use the toilet.
No pooticles in the beer.
Well, you could. Number 1 was okay, but so anyway, so I had all these carboys and whatever fermenting in there, and then I had converted the shower into a bottle rinsing station, and I don't remember all the details, but anyway, so so that was my fermenting room, and anyway, it was right across the hall, and so I'd be doing my coating, and I'd be just very frequently getting up to check. I wonder how this beer's doing. Let me look at that fermenter. What's the temperature in there? And I got to be where I was, my brain was more interested in the fermentations that were happening than in the code I was making. So so I thought, well, maybe I should pursue this. And so I just kind of kept my my ears to the ground, or whatever the expression is, and found out through another home brewer that there was this mash mucking job open at this brewery, and I managed to get the mash mucking job, as I mentioned earlier, and yeah, I kind of went from there. I just kind of dove into it, and just when I got offered the head brewer job, it was a pretty decent sized pay cut, but I went for it anyway, and yeah, and just decided I had to try it. Turned out I wasn't too bad at it. So
Yeah.
Well, the world is a better place because David made that decision.
Yep.
I mean, in my glass right now being empty, definitely was.
Yeah.
Yeah, this can is empty.
Yeah.
We'll give my gut a little bit of break to make room for the next one. We'll go through a few questions, but then we're going to open that next beer here shortly.
All
So
right.
be prepared. All right, you're up, Chris.
Nuh-uh. I just asked him.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm up. God, thanks, Chris. For
What was that
reminding me.
last question anyway?
The last question was what made him, after starting home brewing, what made him move into the
Gotcha.
brewing
Okay.
Yeah.
as a career?
All right, Ken, you're on the hot seat now. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so you already mentioned that you came from a professional creative design background,
That's right.
but
Yep.
but and you decided to answer the ad that Mike put in the paper to become a bartender. But what drew you towards making this a full-time career in craft beer?
Well, I mean, I've been a graphic designer for a long time. I was a art student in college. I've worked doing creative work for a lot of things that it's wrong to say I didn't care about it, because I care about doing a good job. I care about the teams I was working for. But, I worked for a long time for a company that sold, electrical equipment to industrial facilities. Like, it's not super exciting.
sexy. Yeah,
As a
not sexy.
freelancer, I would do brochures for accountants and, you name it. I've probably designed something for it over the years. And I'm also a guy with a lot of interests and a lot of hobbies and a lot of things that I'm passionate about. And, a place like this was very easy to get passionate about because our town needed something like this. And I really enjoy a place like this. So after bartending for a little bit, there definitely became a need for someone to manage the social media, just from the creative standpoint, generating images, taking photos, creating logos, paraphernalia for events and stuff like that, which I was doing on the side. And my regular job at that time was I was creative manager for a big regional construction firm, which again, great job. Don't really have an innate love of the construction world per se, but it was getting such that it was hard to do right by this place and produce the amount of stuff at the level that we really needed to succeed and still, be do well at my regular job. So at some points, like, I don't know, something's got to give. But at that point, it was really when we were bringing this space here that you see behind me online as an event space. So the needs were growing here. And Mike offered me an opportunity to make that jump and make this the full-time job, rather than me saying, sorry, guys, I'm out. You're going to have to find somebody else.
Yeah.
So it was a very easy decision to make because, again, I've never really been able to work at a concerted level for something that I was that passionate about. It's also close to my house. I was commuting, half an hour each way every day. I mean, I've got it timed. I can walk here in 9 minutes. I can bike here in 3, and I can drive here in like half a minute.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice. So it's got a lot going for it, and it's the kind of place where I feel an ownership-like sense of responsibility for it, and a real legitimate concern that this place thrives. So that makes a huge difference in what I do as a career.
And that's
Nice.
all extremely obvious. I mean, Ken has a passion for the place. We're blessed. Ken and David just put their hearts into it. Jackie and I do too, but just to have other people want to be part of something that you've created is very humbling.
Yeah.
Well, when you can have team members that will stand by you and go, I don't necessarily sign everything, but I feel like I have that responsibility too.
Yeah. Yeah, and they do, and it's not just Ken and David. We have others that
Mhm.
really take pride and take ownership. And
Mhm.
we took a somewhat blighted 5 properties we combined now to do what we've done,
Wow.
and tore a few buildings down, and just did a number of things, and really made that corner pop from being pretty blah, pretty nothing for a while. It's pretty cool. We get huge compliments that you think you could be in Milwaukee or Chicago or on West Coast brewery scene or something like that. So tremendous compliments, and a lot of the content and the beer and when everything follows up with your first look at a place, then that's just kind of mind blowing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that both Ken, you and David both, had careers, and your passions drove you to wanting to change it into focusing in this direction, which is great, right? I think so many people do something because they feel like they have to, and it's nice that you guys found that you guys would shed away what you thought you had to do to go do something that you felt the passion to do. So that's very
Yeah. And in my case, I'm still using the skills that I've built over, a long career doing what I was doing. And graphic designers these days are not just designing, we're photographers, we're videographers. I mean, heck, I even record my own music for some of the backgrounds for our videos and stuff. I mean, I'm willing to use my writing scripts, for
Right.
pretty much anything.
Right. Yeah, Ken's brought a lot of stuff to the forefront that we didn't have, when he was somewhat part-time, and he didn't have a lot of part-time. And now we put out great content on so many things. We've got billboards, we're always doing something. I don't think a day goes by you're not pulling something together so we can print it or make it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, any organization should never have a marketing department that's twiddling their thumbs, because there's always more that you can
Oh
and
my God.
should
So
do.
much to do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And hey, it's nice to hear that, somebody else started out just doing social media, and that's how you ended up in the place. That's exactly
Yeah.
how I ended up with Denny.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then Ken, just kind of going off of that experience in branding and marketing, how do you think that helped shape the identity for the brewery?
Well, I think one of the things that we're not unique in this case, but unlike breweries that are distributing beer, we are very much a local place. So what we do is very much a reflection of our locale. From the very start, this was going to be a place where if you wanted a Hinder beer, you had to come here.
Yeah.
And so what we're selling is not just the beer, but it's really the experience. So a lot of what I'm creating isn't necessarily, say, real flashy packaging that you're going to see on a can or something like that. It's making sure that people understand that this is an inviting place where they're going to come and have a quality experience and just have a good time. And hopefully, as a graphic designer, as a creative, it's always imperfect. Communication is one of those things where you always have to work at it, no matter how good you are. You think you may be at it. So there's times you may put something out there, it's like, well, that didn't quite land, let's tweak it a little bit next time. But it's making sure that experience is what people can expect from looking at your visuals and looking at the story that you're telling out there in social media or wherever.
Yes. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. All right, going back to you, David. You were named Great American Beer Fest Large Brew Pub Brewer of the Year in 2015.
That is true.
What did that recognition mean to you personally and, of course, professionally?
It was maybe the biggest shock I've ever had. Because, well, we'd been participating pretty much every year in JBF, and so that wasn't too unusual. But when I first started entering beers in that competition, I think it was 2007, something like that, maybe 2008, I don't remember. But there was no rule about how many beers you could enter. You could enter all the beers you wanted. And then as it got more and more popular, they started to have to put a cap per brewery on how many beers you could enter. And I think what they ended up doing by 2015 was they had said, okay, you can enter all the beers you want, but you can only use so many of them to compete for Brewery of the Year. Like there was a limit, right?
Okay.
So prior to that, a big brewery that had the resources to enter 20 beers would have a really good shot at because the award was based on basically how many medals do you get, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so the more beers you enter, the more medals you're going to get, right? So, so at some point they leveled the playing field, and I knew they had, but it never occurred to me that suddenly I had an actual chance to win that. And so we were sitting there at the awards ceremony. Lucky we even went. I mean, because not everybody goes to the awards ceremony that wins awards.
Yeah.
And we were sitting, and we wound up sitting like in the least accessible place to the stage you could, like right in the middle of the row, nowhere to get out, and so we won a medal, okay, right? And then we won another medal. We're like, wow. And then they called my name for that award, and I was just stunned. I couldn't even move for a while. My mouth just drops open. I was with our distribution manager, and she's just screaming. I'm like, what is happening right now? And I managed to like get down to the stage eventually. And the thing was, again, it took me a while to even realize what was happening. And then it took a long time to get out of the row I was sitting in. So like when you win a regular medal, they don't pause for you, right? They just keep the thing going, and you go up and get it whenever you get there, right? But for these, they pause and wait for you to show up. And so the whole room is like staring at me, finally making my way down to pick this thing up. And I couldn't even talk for a while. I was like, what just happened? So
wow.
Did not expect it at all. So that was very exciting. It was a big deal.
Nice.
That's amazing.
And then the cool thing was then that got the brewery kind of on the national map for just a little while, and that meant that the USA Today newspaper, I don't know if they're still a thing, but they did a best brew pub award, which was based on they nominated breweries, and then whoever could get the most people to go and click some link would win the award. Yeah. And they nominated us based on the Brewery of the Year award. That's how they came to nominate us. And then we had enough loyal fans that we would we sent them all like off to the library or wherever there was a computer that would have a cookie, right? and go
repeat
click
vote.
Sometimes it'll let you do it. And so we won that award like 2 years in a row, I think. So,
nice.
So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a good day.
Oh, so that's how those USA Today polls, have
those
those winners.
I wouldn't necessarily say they're scientific, but yeah.
All right, excellent. All right, we're between segments. More beer names. Chris, you want to read these beer names?
Yeah, most definitely. So some more beer names for H.H. Hinder. We've got Gladass Porter.
Gladys Porter.
This next one I always think is just a fun name. Schweddy Stout.
I love Schweddy. That's awesome.
Well, I don't. I can sprinkle a little, Gold Bond down there.
Now you have to stop right there.
Okay.
Because my favorite of the two is half and half.
Go on.
It's half porter and half stout. Okay. And then it's a Glad Schweddy ass.
Glad Schweddy ass.
That was my favorite German teacher. All right, so then we got Brown Noser American Brown Ale, 7-year itch barrel aged strong ale. You might want to get that checked out with some penalties. We got some more coming up too after we get through another section.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to go into growing the brewery. You already answered some of these questions, so Chris, why don't you go ahead and ask the next one?
So guys, on those early days of growing this brewery, what were some of the big challenges you guys faced?
A ton.
I was thinking there was none because you guys.
He was
are
what
challenges? It's easy.
Where to begin? I think one of the things from my perspective, from a marketing point of view, is one of the nice things about Waupaca, our town here, is that it seems to be growing and thriving, which is a great thing. We want to see all the businesses around here. We're sort of a little bit of a tourist vacation town, and we've got a couple areas here. We've got the chain of lakes just outside of town. We got a nice main street, and we're a little bit off to the side here. Over the years of our existence, some newer places have developed, and they're not breweries, but making sure that we remain, relevant in the face of, newer entities that, peel off a little bit of our customer base here and there. So, to me, that's a challenge is, we can't just throw open the doors and say, hey, we've got great beer. We really need to engage with the community, really make sure we're doing things like events, keeping things fresh and different and interesting and keeping in front of people. So that's a challenge because, people, can be, fickle is probably not the right word, more charitably, there's new shiny things going on and so many things pulling people away. One of the things I've also heard, I don't know if you guys described it or if I heard this on another, there's a podcast I listen to called Gig Gab, and it's about working musicians, so people in bands. And they talked about the premise that, your competition isn't other bands, it's the couch. And I think we compete against the couch too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
About
not
just
everybody.
staying home and just sitting and watching.
I know exactly. That
Right.
may actually
Yeah.
have been us because we were, no, seriously, because I can't remember. I remember we had an interview with a brewery and it was Brandon Bingham with Middle Ground Brewing out
Middle
of
Ground,
Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And he said, breweries are not in competition with each other. They are in competition with with your like going out dollars. Like,
Yeah. So very well may have heard that here, or at least something similar elsewhere. But all those things, there's no one thing that's a behemoth that you're up against, but en masse, there's just a lot of things pulling for people's attention, and understandably so. So we have to keep, working at it. Again, we just can't throw open the doors and say, "Come on, we got great beer," which we do. Yeah.
Yeah, the couch,
we
the
do.
couch is cheap and easy.
oh, couch, that couch is.
It feels good.
He's
It
got
does feel
such a
good.
beautiful hinder too.
Right.
It's yeah.
You
it
got to
molds
put it
right to
somewhere.
I know.
Well, and the earlier challenges, I mean, the logistics, where to put it, how many buildings we looked at, how many, what can we make work, working with the city council, working with the engineers and architects, trying not to break the bank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's endless.
Yeah.
It's all the time there's something. We just created a mobile stage we can put in our beer garden because we needed
Oh, nice.
something to light that up. We just we bought a 1800s mill that's falling down in the city of Waupaca that we're going to disassemble and put up a outdoor venue and a covered pavilion made out of that.
It's so good that you have a construction company, Mike. God.
Yeah, that's key. Yeah.
Well, Jackie and I are pretty creative, and the curse of having a construction company and doing this stuff for so long is I know what's possible. So then you're cursed with buying old mills and taking them apart and putting them back together. Because nobody else
you
will do
can.
that. So it's endless, and just people and stuff, and the good people make it all worthwhile. Some people, not that we have bad people, but some just don't. Not everybody works good together. Not everything flows.
Yeah.
Not everything. It's just it's always something, and the curse of it for us is it's 100 miles from our house.
Oh, really?
So everything is long distance. My biggest Waupaca day was during the week once. I went up early in the morning to help coat a floor, came back down here, went to work all day, and then went up that night for a city council meeting.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Back and
So
forth.
it's definitely a labor of love. Jackie and I are the cheapest employees, so we try to do as much as we can. Yeah. But it's rewarding and can be frustrating. So it's still a business. We drink craft beer and we gush over it because we love it and it makes us feel good and we love talking about it. But there's nothing easy about any of this, so people should remember that when they go sit down and that the place is nice and the people are nice and the beer is good. That didn't just happen.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
A lot of moving pieces went into making that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you mentioned more beer. Let's go ahead and do that second tasting. Did
Finally.
you finish your crowler yet, Chris?
Like a gentleman. Yeah.
Let's go into the let me get down to my thing here. The Smokin' Wheat Grätzer, 4.7% ABV, 28 IBUs. And David, what is the story behind this beer? Why did you decide to make a style that nobody in the States makes?
And I'm going to go pour one.
Okay.
It's it's rare. Well, it's it's a style I like. We needed something weird, and
Yep. Smells like campfire.
and it just struck me as really nice for summer, just 'cause
Okay.
it's so light and refreshing. Now, normally it's even less alcohol than that. Just couldn't bring myself to to bring the gravity down to the traditional range because
Yeah, I was expecting like a 2.5 to 3%
yeah
beer.
yeah
You can-
that was a they say learn the rules so you can break them.
Yeah.
But that's what happened here. I knew it was supposed to be lower, but I wanted to get a full flavor,
Mm-hmm.
and to get more flavor, you got to put in more wheat,
True.
and to put in more wheat, you get more alcohol. So that's how it went. But I just like that style. And then the other thing that pushed me over the edge was I had made one once before a long time ago, and I had liked it, and it was reasonably popular. But I had I don't know if it was an email or what it was from White Labs advertising that they had gotten a hold of some original Polish Grätzer yeast
Oh.
by snagging some bottles that they found from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And they found enough yeast alive in the bottles that they were
No
able
way.
to throw it up. Yeah.
Are you
So they were
serious?
advertising this. You could get original Grätzer yeast. So I made myself a note. I have this endless list of ideas for beers. I put it on there. Make a Grätzer with this yeast because that's going to be really fun, right? And it just came up. I needed a beer to make, and there it was on the list. And I thought, boy, that sounds really good. I'd like to drink that. And so I ordered the yeast. It actually took forever to get it because they had to. They
Go
don't
find
stock.
it in
They
the
don't stock.
warehouse.
They have to grow it. Yeah. But, anyway, I finally got the yeast, and then we went for it. And yeah, it's one of those things. Like, it sounded good to me. I didn't have anything else that needed to be in that tank.
Okay.
We needed something weird, and there it is.
Well, it is a weird style.
Mhm.
Okay, so perfectly clear beer, bubbles coming off the bottom
Yeah.
of this glass, and this is not an etched glass that has
Right.
bubbles, so it's nice to see these nice bubbles coming up. The aroma definitely campfire.
It smells like a summer night.
Yeah, it feels like because I just went camping, not just a weekend ago, and yeah, it smells like the campfire.
Yeah.
But what I'm often caught by surprise is that even though the aroma smells pretty strong, I'm guessing the flavor is more mild in the smoke. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking forward to because the initial smell, you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be super smoky, and then you take that sip and it's like, ooh, this is just the right amount of smoke.
I want to taste it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in that, describing it as a weird beer in that it's, uncommon. It doesn't have a flavor that you can't get your head around, like, oh my God, somebody put that in a beer.
Oh.
It's not like that at all. It's got a very pleasing flavor.
Yeah. So you're right. The smoke is not overwhelming. And what's amazing is I do actually get almost the exact same aroma in the flavor. And I'm trying to think of what the aroma. I'm trying to pick out the smoky, the wood smoky type of. Do you know what was the malt smoked with?
That's 100% oak
Or the wheat?
smoked wheat malt. So
Okay, oak
so
smoke.
yeah, I don't, they don't go into the exact process they use, but I believe that instead of they malt their wheat and then they instead of kilning it dry, they smoke it dry over an oak fire.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the well, I mean, there's hops and whatever, but there's no other
Yeah.
malt That's basically 100% of what you're getting. The other flavor I find in it is from the yeast, which is it's really interesting because it's an ale yeast, but you're supposed to ferment it pretty cold, so it was almost near lager temperature for the fermentation, and then it kind of kicks out a little bit of fruity character, a little bit of
a little bit, yeah.
I found a little pear, little
Yeah,
small
yeah.
I like pear, but it just kind of mixes in with the smoke. You almost don't
Yeah.
notice it until somebody points it out. Yeah, and then with just that light wheat in there, it's just so refreshing at the same time. You can just, I can drink a glass of that in about, 8 minutes maybe.
Yeah, I've almost drank half of it already. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
it
right.
goes right down.
There is that. You're right. That subtle, low, very low fruity pear-like character in there. But overall, it's super clean too. I mean, you got the smoky flavor, but man, there's no. The beer tastes like it's supposed to taste, right? It tastes like a wheat beer that just has a little smoky malt in there, and it's super clean, easy drinking. I am, look at my lips. I do get a little smoky leftovers in there. I'm probably going to burp up some smoky character as well.
If you actually see smoke billowing out, that would be a pretty cool effect.
It's like a dragon, Puff the Magic Dragon, going to be going here. But yeah, I picked this beer over the other beer because, which now I can't remember. The other one was
the mango
fruited
Guava Voom.
Oh,
Guava,
yeah, the
yeah.
guava voom.
Yes. Guava Voom, because we don't get a lot of smoked beers.
No.
And I used to, when I first started, I started my craft beer journey, craft beer journey in like 1990. I also, started off with the, cheap beers and that's what I could afford. A serviceman back in the late 80s and early 90s didn't have a lot of money to spend on beer. So I bought cheap beer. But I discovered craft beer, by visiting a brewery that was outside the base, and just fell in love with the flavors it had. But when I first started drinking, because craft beer back then, they were trying all kinds of different things, and there were some smoked beers, and I just felt, wow, this is way too much for me. And so I kind of was turned off by smoked beers. But in the last 5 years, I've really enjoyed some of the smoked lagers and smoked porters and smoked ambers, different smoked beers that have come out, especially like when you add cherry wood smoke to it, or
Those are fun. Yeah.
And one of the breweries here in town in Boise, we have a lot of Idaho has a lot of wheat. We produce a lot of wheat for beers, and we have a lot of hops for beers, like the third in the nation. And so fresh hop season comes, and one of the breweries will take the fresh hops, they'll put it in a smoker, and they'll smoke some kind of wood into the hops, and then that put those hops into the beer and gives off that little subtle flavor into the beer too, which I've really appreciated as well, which is really nice.
Wow.
Nice trick. But I want to try your smoked wheat because I haven't had a smoked wheat beer, and I've heard that this style. What was the brewery that they talked about? Who was not around? I'm trying to think of other breweries we had recently that talked about the brewery in Austin, Live Oaks. No, is it Live Oaks?
Live. So who was recent?
Oh gosh,
he's right in my head.
I know.
Von Trapp.
It's Von Trapp. Von Trapp Brewing out of Vermont. The head brewer loves the smoked beers that are coming out of Live Oak out of Austin. And,
so
and
Tom
he said
Everett,
the
cheers
Grätzer,
to you, buddy.
yeah, he said the Grätzer is like super good. So when I saw that this was a style that you had, I said, okay, we just had someone on that was talking about this style. I've got to try it, and
Perfect.
I'm not disappointed. Your beer is fantastic, and I appreciate the smoked flavor.
Well, thank you.
It is a crisper beer than David did a couple other smoked beers, and this is really a crisp, refreshing beer.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that initial whiff of it up to your nose, and you wouldn't think it's a crisp, refreshing beer, but then it is. So
yeah.
It doesn't surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course we had one called Smoked Bud, because how could you not?
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
what was that style? Was it a porter or amber?
I think that one was kind of a, if I remember,
It's kind of an amber, wasn't it? It was a darker kind of reddish.
That's the Rauch
We
beer.
did, but
Oh, a
I
rock beer. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
probably
had
a
one
rock
of those.
beer.
I can't remember if that was the smoked butt or if we called it, or if that was the. Yeah, that was called smoked butt. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I've always been partial to Rauch beer too.
Yeah.
Not
I've
the but yeah.
I've been trying. So in town we get some imports in, and anytime that a rock beer comes in from Germany, I always grab it to try it, and I really enjoy it. Okay. All right. Well, one more time, David. I just want to say, so far both beers I've had are incredible beers. You did a really good job, and I really appreciate you guys sharing these with us.
Yeah,
our
thank you.
listeners,
I'm glad they made it there without losing much
Yeah.
of integrity. I don't know how cold they were when they got there, but we tried.
Yeah, no. Ken did I don't know who packaged everything, but everything arrived perfect. I've had bad luck with beer getting to me for some reason. The UPS or whoever is delivering it will like punch a screwdriver in the side of the box, and I'll have a big leaky box. Like I had beers come right before yours came from the brewery, and my wife picked it up, and literally the box disintegrated. And it looked like one of the cans, someone has stuck a fork right through, or a knife or a screwdriver right through the side and pierced the can and just leaked all over the box. And but you guys packaged it really well. Everything arrived in perfect condition, and I appreciate that.
Yep, I was tracking those packages all day Friday, just wanted to make sure they got there.
And there was another shipper we could have used for slightly cheaper, but we didn't. So.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to some beer names. You have a style that I absolutely love, the Butt Cold IPA.
Yeah.
I've fallen in. A lot of times the the IPA styles that come in, I don't really like brewed IPA. I hate that style. But when cold IPA came, because it resembles so much of a very good hoppy lager without any of the negative aspects of a hoppy lager, I just fell in love with the cold IPA. So when I saw you had a Butt Cold IPA, I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, we had to do it because the name is so much fun.
Yeah.
And then we deliberately made it to be tapped in January.
Yeah.
Well, it came from Grumpy Old Men. What's the quote?
It's butt cold out here, and
he says it's colder than a witch's tit outside.
No, but there is one where he says it's
That
butt
was
cold.
the other movie you were watching.
somewhere he says it's butt cold out here. Yeah.
Okay.
Butt cold out here.
I'm gonna go watch them both
He
again.
probably says both things. But
That's
research.
when he swings the door open of the shanty, and Jack Lemmon, the son, had just bought a 6-pack, and he's got it in a paper bag. And Dad, Burgess Meredith, who I loved, says it's butt cold out here, and I'm fresh out of beer. And he grabs the bag, takes
that's right.
gives it back to Jack Lemmon, and slams the door.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So we made sure when we released it last time, we had Grumpy Old Men on the screens in the tap room on loop all day, and we had a flannel fest. So everybody came out dressed in flannel, and there's a lot of flannel in Wisconsin. So it was very well attended, and there was just a lot of flannel to be had.
Nice.
And that's just a fun style. I think it's a really neat idea that somebody came up with. In fact, I know the guy who came up with it, Kevin Davey.
From Wayside or Wayfinder. I try to remember the brewery. Out of Portland.
I was at Siebel with him, and so I saw.
Really?
I saw that he had come up with this thing, and I was like, "Well, we got to try that. That's a great idea." So.
Yeah. He does some great beers. I'm able to get some Wayfinder beers here in Boise, and every beer he produces is fantastic. I really enjoy the beers.
Yeah, he seems to know what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you had the here's another one I really appreciate, the big box side. the old box style. You got to have the big box side. Then you got the Wise Crack Pale Ale, and the crack is like Smash. With the single malts, single hop thing. So I like the crack is capitalized there. And then the Swift Kick Red IPA, another style that nobody brews, but I love a good red IPA. A good hoppy amber or red is fantastic.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Swift Kick was actually named. In fact, I'm proud. I think I came up with that name. It was named in honor of the outgoing brewer who needed exactly
Yeah,
that.
get the kick out of there. Perfect name.
Oh, that's
Perfect
right.
name.
Didn't he? Wasn't that like the last beer he made or something?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was in the tank when he left.
That's
I'm sure
beautiful.
that David improved upon whatever was in that tank. So
Yeah.
Well, everything. My experience with the whole place is improved with David there,
nice.
and Ken, and Lisa, and Jackie, and I mean, on and on and on. We've just again had some people that have just made it worthwhile.
Yeah, there's some folks
People-
still here that have been here since we
Yeah.
started, and or pretty near that long.
And the people more than anything, love craft beer, love. One of our early bartenders said to me, "Oh, Mike, this is so neat. You get free beer now." And I said, "Oh my God, this is by far the most expensive beer I've ever had."
You get beer at no additional cost.
Yeah,
Like that.
Nice.
Beer is an employee benefit for you at this point.
yeah. Well, and we barter. We have a lot of friends that get into it and help us. Our neighbor Iron Dave over here. We've made so many things together and created so many things for the place. And his weakness is beer. And
And you just trade it.
unlucky for him, he figured that, or we figured that out. So we get him to do all kinds of stuff.
Nice. All right, Chris, you want to start into the beer and brewing philosophy?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and David, this question's kind of focused on you, but it can be really towards anybody. So, how would you guys describe your brewing philosophy at H.H. Hinder today?
David, you got that?
Brewing philosophy. Let's see. Well, yeah, I think we mentioned it, or mentioned a couple of times that the focus is mostly on beer flavored beer, but I think there's some nuance to that that I have that maybe not everybody does. I do think beer needs to taste like beer, but I try to make it so that, like, I've got this saying I came up with a long time ago, where if you like all of the beers, we're probably not doing it right, because there's probably not enough of a variety if you like them all. Because who likes, the light lager and the imperial stout and the sour and the right. Okay. Yeah, you and I do, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
Right. But most people are not going to like all of those beers. And if everybody likes everything, then maybe you're not being exciting enough about it. So yeah, traditional things, I guess doing things right without like going into excruciating detail of brewing science or whatever. There's a lot of things that you can do wrong. I almost look at it like you have a good beer that wants to come to existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has to get all the way from the field through the maltster and the processing and the hop processing and to the brewery and through the brewery, and then it has to get into a keg, and then it has to get through a beer line, which is often a point of failure. And then it has to get into a glass, which is often another point of failure. And there's got to be at least 30 things trying to make that beer not right in the process, right?
Yeah.
And so I almost feel like it's like almost like whack-a-mole. Like,
Yeah.
and then somebody stored it warm for a week in their trunk of their car, and then they blame me, and the beer wasn't very good.
And it's your fault. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's not my fault, but nobody knows that, nor should they, because, well, I mean, but if you don't know, you just open a beer. Like, I remember when I was in college, we went to this bar with some guys, and I didn't really know anything about beer, and there was they ordered a pitcher of this certain Minnesota beer that was fairly common. I'd never had it, and it was horrible. It was horrible, and I didn't know why. All I knew was I couldn't swallow it unless I held my nose, And I did so only so that we could get the pitcher gone and order something else. What I now
A whole
realize,
pitcher.
the beer was probably fine. They hadn't cleaned that beer line.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it was full. It was all diacetyl, which is now I
Yeah.
know. But at the time, I just knew this beer sucks, and I never bought that beer again, even though it probably would be fine somewhere else. So you know, you as the brewer have to try to knock that stuff down, and even if it quote isn't your fault, it's still going to be your sales that don't happen.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
and when you go into distribution, you add a whole bunch of other stuff that can go wrong. And again, nobody knows it wasn't your fault,
Mhm.
you know, except for a few beer geeks.
Yeah,
And
you
isn't
guys
that
just
amazing?
had.
All the effort that goes into that, and all the time, and all the passion, and all the work, and all the money, and it all leaves our home in a 4-inch PVC pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys just had an episode talking about beached whales and shelf turds, if I remember the
Yeah.
terminology.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I know what a shelf turd is. What's a beached whale?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was funny too because Denny had brought that up as one of our topics of conversation. I'm like, beached whale. Like I know whales is like beers you go after that are
Yeah.
like rare, like the Moby Dick of the beer
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. But yeah.
And I was like, no, we call those shelf turds, Denny.
Yeah. But also, even you guys sending crowlers, right? It doesn't take much for a crowler to get oxidized if it has too much of a headspace in there.
Mhm.
If it's not done right, even getting the beer to us may not come across the same way that you were anticipated it or what you can get in your brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's great that you guys, whoever packaged these, did a great job because no oxidation and no issues
Yeah.
There was zero room in the top of at least my
yeah, zero
Rooster's
room. I
Delight
pop it open and it
any
popped
oxygen.
up. Yeah, the beer came up
Well,
on the
that-
top of the can, so that's like a perfect crowler
That is-
film.
Yeah, I
That is
filled
the
those- I
last
filled those
thing, though, that
personally,
you get a
yeah.
little squeeze out when you put the cap on,
Yeah.
so that you know it's full and there isn't air room in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
David
yeah.
poured those to be certain, and that's why we kind of waited until the 11th hour to send those too.
Yeah.
So you got the freshest beers you could.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the dissolved oxygen was on those, but I'm sure it was way higher than it should be. But I figured, well, if we ship them quickly,
Yeah.
they only have to last, 6 days before we're going to drink them. So it's
Yeah.
probably okay. But I considered grabbing bottles and getting out a homebrew bottling wand and getting the oxygen out. But I thought, well, okay, if they're going to be drank less than a week after I fill them, that's probably more work than is really justified.
So that right
But
there.
I did personally fill them, and I did make sure that beer was coming out the top. And when you
Yep.
put the lid down, it spilled down over the sides. It was kind of messy, But yeah, I was really careful about it because I knew that it was pretty easy to damage it.
No, you did good. You did good, David.
Yeah, we have
I'm glad it made it okay.
when we chat with some breweries, it seems to be a trend. There's these little things that certain breweries will do that make a huge difference. And somebody said that right as we started the show, like we do a lot of little things that make a very big difference. And even considering the fact, well, geez, this beer might be in there for 6 whole days. No, listen, Denny and we probably wouldn't even know the difference. And I mean, I don't know. We've had beers sent to us that were like 2-3 weeks in the container, and it's like, wow, these are delicious. But the fact that you guys care enough
Yeah,
says a lot.
there's a lot of factors in how fast a beer ages, and that time is one, and temperature, and
Yeah.
to me the thing that kills it is warm storage. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any substitute for keeping it cold.
Well,
Yeah.
I also want to say thank you for sending the bottle shipper pack with the ice packs in it. I did use the ice packs yesterday at the beach, so
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah. I've got them all stored in my freezer, so I
Yeah.
can use them continually.
Those are handy.
Yeah, well, the only difference is they just don't have the H.H. Hinder logo on them. But other than that, I mean,
Hey, I thought you guys were supposed to send those back with some of your favorite beers.
Yeah, that was the idea. So,
if that was the idea, then I got some work to do.
All right.
We do have a lot of attention to detail throughout everything at H.H. Hinder and the 810. and these guys can attest to that. Everything we do, we pay attention to so many little things.
Yeah.
Our customers experience, even all this, any seating we buy, we sit on first and make sure we enjoy it. We look at everything from the aspect of the consumer.
Yeah.
How does it feel to you? How do you enjoy it? How does it help you? Jackie with her decorating background, our oldest daughter Abby gets involved. She's wonderful, has a big time job out of Chicago, but sees all these things and puts these events on across the country and helps us with so
Mm.
many things. Ken's experience, Dave's experience, and most everybody that works for us with us buys into it and appreciates that elevated level of attention to detail
Mm.
and things a little better, expect a little better, and help create a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Nice.
All right.
Okay. Is it me or you?
I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna just jump in and take it.
Do it. Do
Yeah.
it, man.
So do you guys are there any particular styles that kind of fit best with your local crowd and your visitors, or is it just like hey, these are what we have on tap and these are what sells best?
Yeah, I feel like our base audience skews a little bit older, more like our collective age, and I know there's a range, but it's not necessarily 20 somethings that are coming in for the most part. And so I think those traditional styles done well, some of them with a bit of a twist, land pretty well with most of our customers. Just from my kind of unscientific viewpoint of it, that's what I think works pretty well.
Yeah, that seems to work. I don't know what would happen if we started making, what I call sugar beers.
Yeah.
Mixing sweet things into them and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen. And we do have some alternative cocktails that are kind of like that, but they seem to do
Right.
okay. Interestingly, our best selling beer ever is our Märzen in the fall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That
And
is-
what's the name of that beer?
Posterior.
Yeah. I think I had that somewhere. I had it and then I said, okay, I can't pronounce it, so I'm going to let you guys pronounce
Of course
it.
you have one.
Yeah.
Of course you have one.
I
Yeah.
just saw another beer name that I'm really excited about. We'll get to.
So David's Marson, his Oktoberfest, our posterior is, I've tried so many of them. That is the best I've ever had. It's just
Wow.
absolutely fantastic. So that's fantastic. Our Red Tail Ale is our year-round go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Our 715 Blonde is very popular. In summer, we have a Mexican lager called El Extremo, which just crushes in the summer.
Mhm.
Um, So just a variety and people with the season, we have the changing season in Wisconsin, so they drift to the darker, heavier, stronger in the winters, and then
Mm-hmm.
when it starts to get nicer out, the lighter, more refreshing, more drinkable beers in warm weather.
Yep.
Is very
So-
popular.
So, Mike, how much do you have in the say of what beers get produced throughout the year? Do you have any say, or do you leave it all up to David to decide?
Well, I look to David. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff in a lot of different styles and different things. And if I come up with something, the IPA at first, I wanted it a little more something, and he, bam, did it and did it wonderful. And he's not touchy.
He doesn't get uptight when you make
No.
a suggestion.
No, and I respect his knowledge and ability tremendously. So I would never go to offend him at all because he knows way more than I do. Again, I'm more the consumer advocate
Mhm.
for most things. So and we go with different things, styles I've never heard of. He'll talk to me about them. I got to go Google it and see what the hell it is.
Which
Well-
is, oh, go ahead, David.
Now I forgot the point I was going to have. You were just saying that. Oh, yeah, you were saying you didn't offend me. Well, I don't really get that offended because if somebody does criticize something, chances are I already knew about it, and I've got 5 other things I don't like about that beer also. So,
That's
so
true.
I've
That's
already
true.
criticized it more than people
That's
are going to
true.
come and criticize it.
He
And
is
then
harder on
somebody,
himself. He'll
Of
point
yeah,
course.
things
Aren't we
bad
all,
right.
about
though?
beer, and I'm
Like,
like, I think it's great.
well, like Mike, you had mentioned that the IPA had drifted, a little bit last year,
Yeah.
and we should probably tweak that recipe. And I said, yeah, I already noticed that, and I have already done the tweak, and it wasn't a big enough tweak, and I got to do another one. And then once you were on board with a bigger shift, then then it was great after that. But like I was already worried about it before you even brought it up.
I'm sure. Yeah,
So I don't get offended because I probably am already mad
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, you're your worst critic is yourself. You're
sure.
going to find every
Yeah.
little small flaw and try to figure out how you can make it different later. And
yeah, and David has far more interest in that than being offended by somebody's comment.
Yeah.
He's a purist. He appreciates fine beer.
And then once in a while you get some kind of dumb comment where,
Well,
oh, how come this Grätzer tastes smoky? Well, and it's like, well, I'm not going to get offended by that either because you just don't know what you're talking about. So,
right.
So, David, what would you change about your smoking wheat? Is there
not
what is
much.
your?
I gotta say, I would not change
Yeah.
a lot about that one.
I'm trying to think of a critique I could give you on this, and honestly, I can't think of anything negative that I would want or anything that I want to enhance more about this because it, like I said, it's a clean beer. It's got that smoky flavor, but it's not overwhelming, and I also appreciate that yeast character that you talked about with that pear. That little bit of fruitiness in there just rounds it out a little bit, and it makes it. I mean, I think, yeah, literally, I've got one more half a glass pour, and I'm done with this 32 ounces, and that should say something that this smoked beer goes down super easy. So,
Well, and
I guess my
that's
one
your
thing about
downside. You're
yeah,
gonna be out of it.
Yeah, that's the negative. That's the negative comment. This beer is way too easy to drink.
there you go. I actually would prefer it to be a little clearer. How's that for a little
clear. I
Yeah.
can see you through this beer.
Well,
I can do the rest of this show
I can see Chris through the beer too.
right through
put that up
here.
next to like
Right.
a nice filtered industrial beer, and you'll know it's not that clear. So,
Okay. Okay.
so I
All
was
right.
hoping to be one notch clearer. There, we don't have a filter, so
You know what? I
you get
call
what you get with
bullshit, but
findings.
okay, that's fine. If you want
All right. Well, maybe it could have settled out in the crawlers too, and maybe that little bit
Yeah.
of haze was
or how about this? You just brewed a damn great beer.
Oh.
We'll
go
take
with
that.
Well, let's
I'd
just
go with
Yeah,
that.
go with it.
It's settled in the crowler. Shut up.
Okay. Here's a question for you guys. What beer style do you wish more craft beer drinkers would give a chance? A style that you think they need to give a chance. That's a hard question to answer there.
Yeah. One of the things that I, hear a lot when I'm talking to people in the tap room or just, casually about beer is there are some people that still hate sours and won't give them a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
And, there are some that are done better than others, but, again, it was something that I was probably a little skeptical of the first time I had one, but I like them quite a bit. I don't drink them all the time, but I definitely like the ones that David has made and other ones that I've tried. And I think if you get past the idea of sour in beer, I think there's a lot of really enjoyable ones out there.
Yeah. True.
It's all about balance.
Yeah.
I would say the typical beer drinker is afraid of anything a little darker because
I agree with that too. Good point, Mike. I hear
they think
more than
it's
anything about the dark beers scare me.
heavy and strong. And
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you heard I don't want to have to chew my beer? And I'm like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they mentioned Guinness. I'm like, no, Guinness is
Right.
not a chewy beer.
Oh yeah,
No.
Guinness is so heavy. Yeah,
Guinness is
No,
the lightest damn
right.
black beer you could ever have.
Yeah, you can.
That's
drink,
right.
You can drink a lot of Guinness. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that myth needs to go. That whole, that dark beer is heavy or strong or whatever, and it's just not just very little, if any, truth to it.
yeah.
And people
Our
get
porter
all-
too is so
Yeah.
light and refreshing and smooth. Just heavy enough to give it a lot of body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like my wife is not a beer drinker really, or she never really had been. But once I started working here and she was more exposed to some of the beers that we had here, our porter is one of her go-to beers. And there's only a handful that she likes, but our porter is just so smooth. It's not heavy, it's not bitter, it's not strong. It's a nice, enjoyable, drinkable beer.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Gladys is named after your wife?
No. Mike's got more of a story of the name there.
Let's hear the story, Mike. What's the story behind Gladys? Or
Well,
Gladass?
when I grew up in Amherst, I walked to school quite a bit and rode a bike as we could, and there was Gladys's Tap, and it was always glad ass to us or happy butt.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
So we had to do a glad ass porter. We've had so many people come in, and my mom's name is Gladys, and she wants me to come in and have one and tell her how it is.
Oh, that's awesome. I do love that name. I mean, I resonate with your beer names, and I think Chris does as well. We love good puns, and butt
Yes.
puns are the best.
Hey,
Speaking of some of
fun.
those other ones,
Yes.
we've also got barrel aged Weiss ass.
No, be a wise ass,
Is it B?
B-A-Y-S.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, B-A-Y-S.
which I love.
Wasn't that
Which is a Weiss
Yeah.
beer, which I love. Which is I think this is a Berliner Weiss, right?
Yeah, it's Butter Weiss. Yeah.
Yeah, which I love that style, and then just the whole be a wise ass. I love that. Okay,
All right.
continue on, Chris.
Harry J. Hinder double IPA.
There's
The next
There's the
one.
Harry Hinder.
Yeah, the huge ass.
huge ass. Love that one too.
Belgian strong ale.
Yeah.
And Rumpenheim Altbier.
There's David's alt beer.
Yeah.
And the Rumpenheim,
We got to bring that back.
that was one of Ken's. That was
Yeah.
a fantastic beer. And he pulled it out of his Hinder, and
Yeah.
then doing some research, found out that there is a village in Germany called Rumpenheim.
Rumpenheim?
Yeah, like my whole concept is let's make up a name of a German town like Butzberg or something like, or Rumpenheim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went with Rumpenheim, and turns out there's a place that's like Castle Rumpenheim or something, someplace in Germany. So next time you're traveling overseas, make sure you go to Rumpenheim.
Okay.
And my slogan on Harry Hinder is Wapaka, Wisconsin is the only place in the world you can go and get an ice cold Harry Hinder and be happy with it.
Well,
Oh,
And
wow,
I
that's a
am
classic.
I am on record at the city council in our approval saying that.
good.
Yeah, one
I'll
of my
just
other
check those
favorite
minutes.
beer names. My favorite beer names. It might not be on your guys' list, is because we brainstormed this one and just like beat the dickens out of it trying to come up with a name, but it ended up being Badunka Dunkelweizen.
That was actually
Oh,
the next
That's on
one
the next.
list.
That's the next list. Yeah.
Such a fun one to say, and it was such a breakthrough when we came up with that name too.
The other one
That's
I
a great
remember
name.
having the breakthrough was we had that lemon sour beer,
Yeah.
and
The
it was it had more issues that I had to fix than any other beer ever, and it ended up doing 3 different fermentations, and it was really a miracle that it came out at all. And then we finally got the beer where we thought we could actually sell it, and actually we really liked it, and nobody could come up with a name, and finally Mike came up with Lemon Wedgie, which was perfect because it had been such a pain in the butt
Yeah,
to make it.
And then Ken's graphic was actually a lemon with a crazy look on its face.
Yeah, that's right. That's
yeah.
right.
It's a little lemon dude getting a wedgie.
Oh,
That's right.
awesome.
back
Then once we named it that, everybody that would try it got it right away because it was a whoa, as soon as they tried it,
Yeah.
and then they liked it because
Right,
it was
yeah.
crisp and clean, but it was a real bam.
Yep.
Nice.
But we
All right,
like
well-
stuff with bam.
Yeah, Bam is good. Bam. So let's continue. We're running out of time. I hate keeping you guys so long, but we have a couple more questions I'd love to get your answers on. We're going to skip a few, but going back to the beer names, you did say Badunka.
Badunka
Dunkelweizen.
Dunkelweizen.
Yeah, that was a great name. How about the Hinder Citus 2020 Imperial Stout?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I love that one. That's a
was a
perfect
good one.
perfect one.
This last one, Denny, is my favorite.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead and say this one.
From the Bunghole series, the fifth Symphony
Yeah.
Scotch Ale.
Now,
Great
one of the great things about that, I had suggested that we call it Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Okay.
And David is enough of a classical music fan that he didn't want to do a dirty on Beethoven by calling him Beethoven.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we might get haunted or something. I didn't.
Make it haunted. You'll be hearing Fur Elise in the brewery just at
Right,
random
yeah.
times. Yeah.
Yep.
But played in the wrong key. And,
Yeah. It'll be an A minor and it'll just be
Right,
awful.
Yep.
All right. So some great
Okay,
beer names.
so so we're done with the beer names. Great beer names. There's more than what you just said. I just picked a few that just sang out to me that I really enjoyed. We're gonna have to have you guys back on because I'm skipping a lot of questions that I really wanted to answer you, but we have been going 2 hours now, and I don't want to keep you any longer. But
It's like one of our planning meetings.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's scheduled for an hour and it goes for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
but I think I want to get you guys to talk about one more thing because you've mentioned throughout the entire podcast how bringing the community into the brewery, doing your event center and everything is important to the H.H. Hinder, whole mission or whatever. I had too much beer to think about it, but that's this whole thing is about bringing the community in.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ken, why don't you go ahead, since you are the creative director and you did come on when Mike wanted to bring on the 810 event space.
Yeah.
So can you talk about the 810 event space and what kind of events that you guys are carrying on, and what are you planning on doing with that mill that you're going to destroy and rebuild to do an event space out there as well?
Yeah, well, I'll let Mike talk about the mill, but as far as the 810 event space, I mean, you can't really see it. I'm just kind of sitting in front of the taps here, but it's a beautiful space. Like, Mike said, Jackie does a great job beautifying these spaces, but there's sort of like two main areas that the space is going to be used for. One is, rental events. So, weddings, corporate events, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, celebration of life, what have
Bar
you,
mitzvahs. Wait, there's a lot of bar mitzvahs that go on in Wisconsin and Wapaka?
There's not a lot, but if one takes place, we want it to be here. Yeah.
It's the prime bar mitzvah spot
Yeah. Right.
here in Wisconsin.
Or
But
for the
it's-
ladies, it's bat mitzvah.
Thank you.
That's true. That's true. I should have been more inclusive with
Right.
that. What can I say? I'm old school.
Get your bats and your bars.
But it's a beautiful space that can accommodate a lot of different types of events. And we've had a wide range of, we've got a couple other rooms back here where we could have smaller events, business meetings, anniversaries, what have you. But it also enables us to do the events that we do and host and create ourselves, to do them on a much grander scale than we used to in the past. One of the things when you guys and I first started communicating is we were getting ready for our homebrew competition, which we call the headbutt competition.
Yeah.
Which I think is another great name that David came up with. It's perfect. But, we first had that in the tap room the first year we were open, and we have a little beer garden space, and we didn't know how it was going to go, and it went over incredibly well. And if it had rained that day, the space that we were intending to be outside, there's no way we would have fit everybody in the tap room.
Yeah.
But now years have gone by and we've got this great big space. We've got a huge stage over there. We've got this big open floor where we can set up all these brewers. So we're able to accommodate things like that and have the space to do it. And it's not just the space. It's not like a big empty bare warehouse. You've got the beautiful bar here. We've got great furniture. It's got a great vibe. So it really enhances those things that we do. And talk about, community, the folks that come in from the home brewing community, they might not all be immediately local, but they're by and large from the Midwest, from Wisconsin, and they are such an enthusiastic group of people that we love having them here. It's just a dynamite event. Or we do the Irish Wake event with the local arts board, where we have Irish music and dancers and singers and all kinds of people in here that don't ordinarily get to enjoy the space on a day-to-day basis. But it again engages the community or that part. There's a big Venn diagram of sub-communities within Wapaka, and we're a place where a lot of those communities can cross over and get to know each other. Just Saturday night we had this big balloon affair. So the hot air ballooning community is its own group of people that again are just dynamite people that are so passionate about what they do. And it allows us to have this space here where we could bring in, there's a big balloon basket that I can see right over there that's sitting on our main floor. We had slideshows and kids activities, but we had these big giant hot air balloons outside. We can do all that stuff now that we didn't used to be able to do. And it just brings the community together, family friendly thing like that, where kids are like, wow, look at this stuff. And the parents get to ask the balloon pilots about these things and enjoy Hinder beer while they're doing it. It's a huge part of who we are.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So Mike, what about, what are your big plans for this mill that you're going to disassemble and reassemble? Is it going to be like a big amphitheater where you're going to bring in big bands, or?
No, it won't be that big. We pull things together from different areas. A place we go in Florida has this neat concrete, almost like a little stagey type thing that'll sit outside of it for weddings or maybe a small musical group. The pavilion itself is the brainchild of just seeing these beautiful chamfered timbers that are in this building, and they've got cast iron brackets. Yeah, it's not pinned and doweled. They had cast iron brackets made that went on top of the post and attached to the horizontal pieces. There's tongue and groove boards we'll use for the ceiling boards in there. The siding on the place, we're going to put a small building out there with a bathroom and a bar in it. So that'll be around that. We put a couple pieces of that mill in our 810 building, in our remodel. And Bill Bodie had bought it originally and had it for some time and taken some of it down. And I met with Bill this last winter, asking if he wanted to continue, if we'd help him with the expense of taking it down. We'd buy some of this stuff. And he sadly shared with me that he had some bad cancer. And Jackie and I talked about it, and we wound up buying it from him. He's since passed away, and now that's our goal. We wanted to get it done so he could come to it, but we'll get his wife there, and it's just going to be a super cool thing, and it's a piece of history from Wapaka, and it's really beautiful stuff. So it'll create another space that just doesn't exist anywhere else. We've got some very unique things, and all difficult and a little more expensive to do, but also rewarding. And like Ken said, people really appreciate it. We've got a bunch of glass overhead doors on the big building, the 810 that he's in, and it was a beautiful night Saturday. We had all kinds of them open and people wandering everywhere, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, nice. Okay. As we mentioned earlier, I have so many more questions to ask all of you. I know that getting all three of you together again might be tough, but I'd like to invite whoever would like to come on again later on to answer the questions to come on. I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting with all three of you, learning about H.H. Hinder, laughing about the great names you have. Not Adam, but with the names, because I truly appreciate what you guys are doing there, and enjoying these great beers. This is the last bit of that smoking wheat. That should say a lot. If I can drink 32 ounces in in a half hour, that's pretty good. A pretty good beer, and
Nice.
both beers are great. Chris and I will be recording our next show next week because I'll be out camping for a week. So we'll go ahead and drink that last crowler together and do some tasting notes on the next episode.
Oh, sounds good.
It should still hopefully hold out for one more week. If there's anything negative, I'll just say, well, we kept it too long. But I think it'll be,
Perfect.
I think it'll be a great beer because, for one thing, David, you packaged these crowlers perfectly because they definitely are holding the carbonation and no oxidation. That I can tell in it. So it's a great job. But,
Yeah, let's blame it on Denny.
I'll blame it on me
Yeah.
for delaying.
It's all
the,
his fault.
Yeah. But hey, I want to thank the three of you for joining us tonight, and for providing the beers and the great swag and the stories. The stories are fantastic. I hope that everyone listening to the show, when they go to Wisconsin, they'll make a special trip to come visit you guys at H.H. Hinder and laugh and order up the great beer names and get a little chuckle and a smirk because they heard us chuckle and smirk on the show. But before I let you guys go, maybe Ken or whoever wants to go ahead and let our listeners know how they can find you out on social media.
Yeah, well, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're even on TikTok. I think that's sort of where we first connected on TikTok. I'd say most of our most robust content you're going to find on Facebook, so look us up there. Or you could go to Hinder Brewing, hinderbrewingco.com. Boy, I'm so used to just clicking on. Yeah, you better look us up on Facebook. Yeah. But yeah, we're out there. There's plenty of content. You can find out all the things that we have, going on, and take a look at the photos of things that we've done. But we're pretty easy to get to, and lots of folks pass through central Wisconsin. So I always, as you travel around the country, you've probably seen bumper stickers for Wall Drug. So
I've been to Wall Drug just a couple years ago.
I have too. So if you're going through, is that South Dakota or
South Dakota? Yeah,
South Dakota.
South, yeah.
So if you're going through South Dakota, you got to stop at Wall Drug.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not as kitschy as Wall Drug. If you're going through Wisconsin, you don't leave Wisconsin without going to H.H. Hinder Brewing.
Of course you don't.
Keep that in mind. I mean, we are easy to get to, and it's worth sticking around here and enjoying a few Hinders.
And we do have some beautiful swag Jackie has put together for years. We have a big variety of stuff. You can see some in my background here. Lots of clothing, lots of nice stuff. She puts a lot of effort into it. We do have a link on our website. I don't know if there is on the Facebook page too. It's instead of boutique, it's the boutique. So you're
Perfect.
The boutique.
Yeah, the boutique.
The boutique. The Hinder boutique.
Kind of like a butt cheek, only a little bit.
Yeah. Just it's a little cheeky. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll be at a lot of events this summer too. So if you're in the Wisconsin area, we'll be at the Great Taste of the Midwest in Madison in August. So you can come check us out there.
We'll be at the Iowa Car Show in July, which is 50 some years running. About 130,000 people go through a village of 1,200 people.
Wow.
Yeah, giant car show.
Woof.
And you can link up to our Howard Herald, our monthly paper that Ken puts out. It has a lot of inside information about us and what's going on.
Okay. For sure they'll do that. I'll have a link to your website on the show notes we post with the show with the podcast. And it's been fantastic, guys. Thank you for taking the time and chatting with us. We really
I've really enjoyed it, and I'm sure these guys have too.
Every fall, the Saturday after Labor Day, we do what we call Hinderfest. Because my initial, when people said Hinderfest, I said, who wouldn't want to go to Hinderfest? Come on. So, and the first time we thought, well, maybe it'll just be us drinking some beer and listening to music. There'll be nobody else there, but they showed up, and they show up every year, and we keep trying to make it better. Our big, beautiful building works out fabulous for that too. And that's where we tap the posterior.
After Labor
That's what she
Day,
said.
Yeah.
Hinderfest. Got it.
Put that on your to-do list because you've never had a Marzen like David's.
I can't wait. I can't wait to try David's posterior Marzen.
Our first singing group is the Squeezettes. It's kind of a funky rock polka group that are a blast.
Funk, rock, and polka,
Yep.
Nice.
and
They're
delicious
fun.
Martzen. All
They
right.
do the Hams beer commercial slogan to polka. It's one of their songs.
Yep.
Denny, we're gonna
From
have
the
to make a
land
trip.
of sky blue waters.
The
Yeah.
land of sky blue waters. Hams. I drank hams in high school. I've gone back to hams since I, have matured, and it's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one of those not that long ago, and I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't finish it. It
Why
was
do I
Yeah.
do this to myself?
It's right there with the old style.
yeah, exactly. It served its point at the time, but now that I've matured, I need to drink some, a little bit more. I need to drink some Bud Light. That is
Yeah.
better than
Yeah.
Hams.
That's an upgrade.
For sure.
All right, guys, have a great evening, and we'll work out another time when we can get together and talk about the headbutt. I really wanted to talk about the headbutt competition and more of the community event stuff. So if we get together, we can have a show devoted to that.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch, and we really appreciate it. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you again for all the time and the beers and the swag, guys. This is awesome. We'll talk soon.
Our pleasure.
Take care.
All right,
Bye, guys.
bye.
Well, now here's the awkward part of trying to put everybody in the waiting room. Later. There we go. All right.
All right, what a great show, and great beer, man. I'll tell you what. This is all I have left of my second crowler, and I'm really enjoying this smoked wheat.
Yeah.
Great guys. I love the jokes. Chris and
Oh,
I.
yeah.
Chris, you and I love this kind of stuff. And those guys and Mike, man, he just kept nailing them. Like one after another. He just every time
Yeah.
he'd say something, it was a Hinder joke, and I love that he did that. That's
Like, could you imagine, like, you have your like your catch up meetings in the middle of the week, and you got him going, "Hey, look, you guys are getting a little behind her, and then you're in your
behind her."
tasks." And we're like, "What?"
Oh, we've been going over 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I did have a voicemail, but I forgot to send it to you, Chris, from Eric Gronley.
I mean, if you want to, real quick.
No, we'll get to it. I hope.
Oh,
Hopefully,
you know what?
it'll-
We're gonna need it for next week.
Yeah, we'll need it for next week. We're gonna record the show next week, but it won't come out for 2 weeks. So sorry, Eric. We ran out of time, and of course I forgot to send it to Chris. It's my fault. But Eric is going to a Denver area,
Yes,
and he was
he is.
asking us for some suggestions for places to visit. So
Okay,
Chris,
so I got you real quick. First place. It's the closest to the airport you could go, and I wish they would just respond to my emails already. But Danico Brewing,
Danico, yeah,
closest to
Yeah.
the airport, great beer.
okay,
Danico was a good spot for us. I can't remember where else we went. A couple other places we went were like in Breckenridge, so a little further
that's-
out. So,
yeah,
but
yeah, it's outside of Denver.
Eric, lots and lots of good beer in the area. I'll see if I can't dig into the locations that I had in my notes. I still have them in my phone.
Yeah.
So I will definitely get Denver trip. There we go. Brewery recommendations: Danico Brewing, it's closest to the airport. Second Dawn, Cerebral, and Chaluna. Were
Yeah,
also
Cerebral for sure is someplace I think you should visit. That's on my list. So my list is Cerebral,
Mhm.
Bierstadt for lagers.
Definitely Bierstadt. I brought that beer home.
I have heard some really good things about our mutual friend brewing.
hmm
So I think that one, and Cohesion Brewing is another one. Beers that I've had that were good were from True, TRVE.
Yep.
And then if you want to go to the like the oldest craft brewery in Denver, that's Wynkoop Brewing.
Hmm.
Those are the ones I suggested. Now, we'll listen to your voicemail next episode, but at least we gave you some suggestions to try if you can't make it to, if you're already on a trip before then. But
Yeah.
my apologies.
Yeah.
Eric.
but at least get you started. And Eric, one of the things that I did to find some places was hop on a Facebook Colorado beer page and just ask people, because that's essentially how I got all my recommendations.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And they took pretty good care of me.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Chris, let me take a quick break before we finish the show.
okay.
Okay.
You're gonna leave me here by myself. He didn't even say, no, I'm not going to leave you here by yourself. He just got up. I'll sit here and drink this delicious beer. And Denny, when you have to go back and edit this, I saw your hinder when you walked over to the bathroom. We're still live on Facebook too. Apparently, Cajun keeps moving it in his dog bed and
And
bumping
making
into
noise.
it. No, and just like shaking our bed, so it's waking Tina
Oh,
up. She's like, "You
oh.
coming to bed soon?" I was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah."
sorry. I'm sorry, Tina. I'm keeping your hunky man from you longer.
I was when
I
you're in.
shouldn't drink 40 ounces of water before we start the podcast because
Good
if you haven't
Lord.
noticed, it's the third time I had to get up to go to the bathroom.
Well, I was sitting here just kind of waiting. He went to the bathroom. I'm sitting here. I'm just kind of goofing around, and I hear talking, and I'm like, "What? What talking would I hear?" And then I get a text, and she's like, "Cajun keeps moving and bumping into the bed and waking me up." And I'm like, "That's my dog.
Oh.
That's my dog."
All right. Well, let's finish this off. So if you want to leave a voicemail, I promise not to forget to send it to Chris. You can send that to 208-536-3359. If you've been drinking like Chris and I and you can't remember that many numbers, how about 208-53 oddly? Just program that into your phone. Leave us a voicemail. We love to hear whatever you got to say to us. Questions, crap your journey, just say
Profanities,
hi.
whatever you
Yeah,
want to do.
yeah, whatever. Drunk calls. We're good with everything. Love to hear your contact. Uh, I said contact info. If you'd like to leave a comment a different way, you can do that through voice or through email at tapthecraft@gmail.com. It's hot in here.
Is
If you
it?
can't see, my forehead's probably sweating.
Are
It's
you
a bit
schwitzing?
warm. Yeah,
Gonna,
and the last of my smoked beer is coming through my pores.
you're gonna smell like
Uh,
a campfire when you
I'm gonna
call in the
smell like a
big day.
campfire. Sarah's gonna make
Yeah.
me sleep on the couch tonight because I smell too good for her in bed. Yeah, leave us a voicemail at tapthecraft@gmail.com or on our Facebook page at facebook.com/tapthecraft. We would love to hear your feedback. We're going to skip the Untapped to Craft because it's running late. We're going to skip the new and noteworthy. We'll hit our new and noteworthy for next episode.
We got some good ones on there.
Yeah.
Because I got one that matches yours, this one. I don't know if you're seeing me highlight that.
Yeah.
But,
That beer
oh,
was so good. I fell in love with that beer when I drank that one. So yeah, we'll talk about that next episode. So that's a little teaser. So stay tuned for episode 311. But we will go ahead and raise our glass to some people who like to raise a glass to. So Chris, who would you like to raise a glass to tonight?
I want to raise my glass to the folks over at H Hinder. Mike,
Yes.
David, Ken, thank you guys so much
Yeah.
for not only sending us some fantastic beers,
Yeah.
but all the cool goodies. I mean, they sent us over three 32-ounce
Crowlers.
crowlers.
Yeah.
They sent us
Yeah.
t-shirts. They sent us stickers. They sent us pint glasses and oh, it's green apparently, and pint glass koozies.
Yeah, the koozie's awesome. I
I've
love this
used this
koozie.
thing like 3 times now.
Yeah, yeah. The
I love
koozie's
this.
cool.
And the glass too.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for the time for the great conversation. We really do appreciate it. And Denny, who would you like to raise a glass to this evening?
Yeah, I also raised my glass to the guys at H.H. Hinder. Really had a good time chatting with you guys. Thank you for your generosity and for your time to come on and chat with us. And of course, our Patreon toast goes out to Mr. Mike Blanchard. I will be visiting him on that week that I will be camping. He's invited me to come stay on his property.
Nice.
His parents have a large spread of land, and Sarah and I are going to go camp on that land and spend some time with him and his family next or the week after next.
I'm sorry, I just saw something funny on their can. It says, "Please grab our Hinders responsibly."
Yeah, nice, nice. Oh, but like I said, Chris and I will be recording 1 week early because I will be traveling during our normal recording time. So keep that in mind. I'll be on my way to Mike. And again, big thanks to Batman Dan for all the beers from the Alabama beer care package that he sent. Thank you, Dan, for the beers. And if you notice, I've got my, you can kind of see, wait, right.
Oh, yeah, keep
Yeah.
pointing that way. I see it.
Yeah, I need to move my camera. Let me move my camera a little bit. There it is. He made this cool 3D printed Batman 12-pack carrier that fits into a medium-sized USPS
Flat rate
box,
box. Like that was
flat rate
impressive.
box that he sends UPS because he can't trust the USPS to get
Oh
to
no,
me.
he did say it UPS. You're right.
Yeah, he sent UPS because the United States Postal Service can't get things to me from Alabama for some reason. But yeah, great container, and thank you, Dan, for the beers. So far, the beers have been fantastic. I've really enjoyed them, and I've been watching you, Chris. Every beer you drink, I drink, so that we,
Okay.
So I don't have ones left over or drink ones that you haven't had. So next episode, we'll drink the 32-ounce last one of Hinder, and maybe pick one beer from Dan, and we'll share together as well.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, well,
Or we can do a Smiggles beer.
yeah, well, we got to give a shout out to those guys too.
Yeah, because so I'll tell you what, the Pontoon Brewing Gang, they sent us all 5 Smiggles beers. Luckily, Chris got all 5 of his intact. I got one with the one I was really looking forward to was the blueberry one, the blue. Wait, I saved the sticker. This one, Infinite Smiggles. Man, this smelled like blue raspberry. It was so good, but somehow some like screwdriver got poked into the box and pierced the can and leaked all over the damn thing, and I wasn't able to enjoy it. I just could enjoy the smell. But I'll live vicariously through Chris's experience with that one. But thank you, Craig Snyder and gang from Pontoon Brewing, for sending us that Smiggles box. I really appreciate that. You guys are great. Okay, being a former serviceman, I also want to raise my glass to thank all those who have served and are currently serving in the U.S. military service, protecting our freedom. Thank you for your service, and I hope you're able to return home safely to your families very soon. And you can find the beers and a link to H.H. Hinder Brewing Company on the show notes, located on the show post at taptocraft.com. And Chris, why don't you go ahead and give our last call?
Yeah, well, guys, like Denny said, it is last call and time to bring the show to a close. Foam fresh, friends faithful, and fridges fully stocked. We want to thank you for downloading and listening to the show. We ask that you please tell a friend about our show and subscribe, or hey, share our stuff on social media. That always helps too. Right, and you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And as a reminder, we release a new show, other than this coming week, every 2 weeks. We'll be recording next Monday as well.
Yes.
Now go out there and spread the good word of craft beer.
Cheers.